What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
4 Iya, Chapter 7776. Luffy Sanji Kid was pretty kawaii in his childhood. Seeking collection. Seeking monthly pass. Seeking recommendation. Advertisement. Quote. Lucas looked at the three little ghosts with a headache. Brother Lucas. The three little ghosts looked at him, In childhood, Luffy, Sanji, Kid were pretty kawaii. So, Lucas looked at the three little guys tangledly. The three little guys stood up, ready to go in. Good night, Lucas finished, and slammed the door shut. The cold wind was rustling at night, leaving three little ones in the yard to be frozen. Didn't you say that you can eat meat when sleeping with brother Lucas? Luffy looked at Sanji. Who did Kid let you grab us? Didn't you say that brother Lucas should go to us? Sanji looked at Kid angrily. Quote. Kid looked at the two men dumbfounded. When did you say it? By the way, don't discuss the matter of dividing up Big Lucas with such blatant discussion, is it okay? He is not asleep yet. Sanshao just rubbed his arms and returned to Sakazuki's bedroom, hugged and warmed up. Hey, Lucas lay on the bed and turned over. In fact, he didn't realize that there was anything to sleep in the same room with the little brothers. Anyway, they are all kiddies, and no one speaks badly, unless the person's mentality is not right. Only, today, several female hooligans of all ages molested him, so he felt a little uncomfortable. As an outstanding young man among Marine, he became Rear Admiral at a young age, and his strength is still so strong. Most importantly, he has a handsome face like Reader's father. After that, there will be more and more subordinates, what can he do? So good, it's like a few tons of ambitious hormones that attract a large number of female hooligans, worry. Early the next morning, the wooden door of the yard was opened, and Lucas walked back, sweating profusely. The amount of morning exercises for the three little ones is very small, so they came back long ago. In the kitchen, Sanji wore an apron, walked out with breakfast, and saw Lucas coming back. Brother Lucas, come and eat. Advertisement. A few people were sitting together, Lucas eating Sanji's breakfast, full of praise. Not bad, Sanji, your cooking skills are good, I want to catch you on the warship. Lucas said with satisfaction. Just verbally boast, eldest brother, you brought me to the warship. Sanji said helplessly. Wait for you to grow up. Lucas said, shaking his head. Hey, when we grow up, you will have children. Luffy said dissatisfied, in fact, he also wanted to have a sea. Happiness. The three little ones were holding the big bag on their heads in a pitiful way. Sanji and Kid looked at Lucas in a puzzled way. Why should they hit them? It was obviously that Luffy couldn't speak. This is called sitting together. Lucas took a sip of soup. I will go out for training soon. Mother Koala will bring Koala and the others over to find you for training. Mother Koala is responsible for supervising your training. If anyone dares to be lazy, be careful. Your A kicks and blossoms. We are honest. The three little ones looked at Lucas quickly and obediently. Lucas had an expression of, I believe you a ghost. After eating, they walked out of the house and found Zontawan. The two found a place and started training. And Buggy, Monet, and Akin, they led the Marines on the Lucas warship to train in a field. Marines' job is to catch pirates and protect ordinary people. But there must be a strong strength to do these things better. Under the scorching sun, Lucas was naked, revealing hard-covered muscles, holding a long knife in both hands, the blade was covered with armed color, and he was ready. Zondao Maru walked over, and the double-edged axe on his shoulders was raised, covered with armed color, ready to chop Lucas at any time. A gust of hot wind blew, and the two set off together. Lucas constantly used armed forces to fight, to constantly make himself more proficient in the control of armed forces. So no increase is used. Lucas, who did not apply to increase, was beaten by Zondao Maru. If it is purely based on the increased capacity, Lucas will have no problem becoming a Rear Admiral. But if this continues and his strength does not improve, he will stop here. Because only those who are excellent in all aspects can truly compete with the top powerhouses. After all, his devil fruit is very closely related to his own strength, not the powerful Logia like Kuzan, Pelusolino, and Sakazuki. Only when he becomes stronger and stronger, will his strength be stronger after the increase. At the end of development, it has a strong strength. Every time the multiplier is doubled, the strength will be more perverted after the increase. Boom. Lucas was hit with an axe by Zondao Maru, and his body flew upside down, directly breaking a big tree. At the end of the day's exercise, Zondao Wan continued to have a meal. After sending away Zondao Maru. Okay, you all go back. Lucas waved to Monet. Advertisement. Lucas Rear Admiral, what can I do for you with Monet? Monet said with a smirk following the baby 5 tone. Go go. Lucas quickly coaxed them away. Women will only affect the speed at which I draw my sword, and refuse to be female hooligans. Closing the courtyard door, Lucas smirked and looked at the little ghosts. What's the matter? Sanji looked at Lucas puzzledly. We are trained obediently, Luffy said arrogantly with his hips folded. Hey, Kid knew that they were lazy during the day, and Koala's mother absolutely told Lucas. These two people, what are you pretending to be? No matter what they say, they are going to be beaten anyway, don't you understand? Happiness. Lazy. Lucas glared at the three little ones, and everyone slapped their heads. I'm looking for my grandpa. Luffy glared at Lucas angrily. Your grandpa doesn't want you anymore. Lucas smirked. Quote. As soon as he raised his foot, the three little ones subconsciously covered their A*, but Lucas amused. He still remembered that when he was a child, he had to throw away the leftovers, and as a result, Sakazuki kicked his butt. These little guys still receive strict education. The most classic is Sanji. When this kid first came, he disliked Sakazuki's food as unpalatable, and the ignorant man fearlessly dumped the food. Although there was no shipwreck in Hungary. But Sanji's butt was also kicked purple. Later, as long as this guy dares to waste food, his butt hurts. It can be said that Sakazuki's rigorous education has already scared the three juniors out of conditioned reflexes. Lucas closed his feet, and the three little ones let go of their hands with a sigh of relief. Lucas raised his foot again, and the three little ones were clutching their A nervously again. Puff ha ha ha, so fun. Lucas couldn't help laughing. The three little guys looked at him impeccably. Don't play, okay. It's almost broken. Happiness. Lucas suddenly got out of his leg and whipped their A fiercely like a whip, and the three little ones screamed and ran into the house, hiding from him in fear. Don't think that Mother Koala looks gentle. You dare to be lazy. Next time I will hear you lazy, then you guys are ready to be beaten. Listening to Lucas's instructions, the three little ones nodded quickly and obediently. Chapter 78-77. Come on Luffy, Thunder 8 trigrams. Seeking collection. Seeking monthly pass. Seeking recommendation. Advertisement. It's scary. Sanji looked scared. Yeah, but be obedient. Kid wiped his cold sweat. Big brother Lucas played a lot less force than Sakazuki, it doesn't hurt or itchy. Luffy said astonishingly. Quote. Sanji and Kid looked at the idiot with a wry smile. If you can't speak, talk less, okay. Brother Lucas is not the kind of brutal guy like Sakazuki, so he just went through a procedure to teach them. But is it really okay if you say it like this and make brother Lucas faceless? Lucas was going to go back to the house to sleep, but Luffy's words completely confused him. Superficial. Seriously. You deserve it, Luffy. He finally knew why in the original book, Luffy later met Kaido so hard. Sorry, Oda-sai, I misunderstood you. It turns out that Luffy is in this way. Want to try my latest punishing trick to educate the kid? Lucas looked at the three people. Huh, Luffy looked at him puzzled. No need, Sanji and Kid said scaredly. Come on, Luffy, Thunder 8 trigrams. Lucas kicked Geo up and kicked Luffy directly into the bedroom. He looked at Luffy being kicked on the bedroom bed with a wicked taste. Luffy looked dumbfounded. He smirked and went back to his room to sleep. I feel happy a lot. Lucas trained for a while at Marineford and Zondao Maru. As the pair practiced more and more times, and Lucas worked harder and harder. The intensity of his armed color and his control are getting stronger and stronger. Lucas is now getting stronger and stronger, and the sword that covers the armed color can also be cut by the sword that he used to cut the enemy. But he knew that as long as his armed color reached a certain level and his control was strong enough, he could be able to cut the paper without breaking it. Under the scorching sun, the knife in Lucas's hand constantly collided with Zontaomaru's double-edged axe, and the harsh sound of metal friction was transmitted into his ears. The two kept moving backwards. In 1 month, Lucas's ability to increase has reached 44 times. But the advanced armed color still has not been learned. Therefore, in order to further train the proficiency of the armed S**X, Lucas continued to practice with Zondao Maru without using the booster. I've been fighting with you for a month, I'm tired of it, or you can use the boosting ability once. The Battle Peach Maru double-edged axe pressed Lucas's long knife, pressing Lucas back and forth. Are you sure you want me to use boosting power? Lucas asked. Advertisement. Use it, full increase, or you won't have fun. Zondao Maru said with a smile. Why don't I drive a little bit? Lucas said helplessly, why can't this guy think about it? Stop talking nonsense, all the increase. Zondao Maru shouted angrily, and at the same time rounded his axe, struggling to slash at Lucas. Hey, then you try to increase my combat power. Lucas said helplessly, and then piled himself up with 44 times the power increase and 44 times the speed increase. It's enough to open both items. Lucas was about to reach Zondao Maru unable to see clearly, so he rushed up directly, and the long knife slashed on Zondao Maru's axe. Just after the collision, a huge force came from the long knife, directly hitting Zondao Maru and flying backwards like a shadow. The axe had already shaken off in midair. Boom. Zontaomaru directly smashed a big tree and turned it into a shadow passing through the training field with a violent air-breaking sound, scaring the Marines one by one to hide away. Zondao Maru flew upside down a long way, and finally fell to the ground, rolling more than 10 meters, raising dust. Zondao Wan was lying on the training ground, blinking, looking at the sky. Who am I? Where am I? Why should I be so stupid to say that? Zon Momomaru is indeed very strong in armed color, he has advanced armed color skills that Lucas can't. But, he never expected that this guy would not be as fast as an individual after the increase. Zondao Maru didn't even have a chance to release the armed S**X, and the people flew away. Fortunately, he covered the armed color in time to protect it. People are okay at least. Are you okay? Lucas looked at Zondao Maru with a smirk. Now he shouldn't make such a strange request, right? What's your trick? Zontaomaru sat up and looked at Lucas expectantly. Huh, Lucas looked at Zondao Maru incomprehensibly, it's just pure speed and power increase. Do you need a name? Very basic moves. Quote. Zondao Maru looked at Lucas with an expression of, you are crazy. Are you sick? Devil Fruit has developed such a pervert, and only relying on Devil Fruit's amplification effect, it is already outrageous. Others' big move hasn't been released yet, you quickly brought down the enemy directly in advance. Cultivate your sister's advanced armed color. Ah, are you sick? Even a good-tempered friend like Zondao Maru couldn't help but curse. Advertisement. Ping A is so strong, but because he has spent so long teaching him, preaching like a senior. Hey, take your time, I only learned it after several years of practice. Don't worry, you can do it like me in a few years. Take it seriously, don't relax. Zondao Maru felt sad when he remembered these words. After teaching Lucas for so long, I finally found out that it was purely worrying. Friends, destroy it. How about my treat tonight? Lucas said with a smile. Okay. Zondao Maru quickly stood up, patted the dust on Kabuto, and happily continued to teach Lucas. This training field left a look of recruits who wanted to laugh but didn't dare to laugh. After the two of them walked away, they worked out one by one while communicating in a low voice. Senior Zon Momomaru is so stupid, I was cheated by a meal. Shish, the other one is Rear Admiral, don't speak bad words. Oh. Marine, who oversaw the training of these guys, couldn't help but laughed, and then continued to sullenly, shut up all of you, talk secretly, and double the load. Yes, Lucas and Zon Momomaru returned to the original training place, where they are still the only two. According to the plan customized by Zondao Maru, Lucas stood under the tree and continued to practice. Zondao Maru sat on the side of the stone. As Sakazuki Vice Admiral back, Zon Momomaru asked. No, where's Dr. Vegapunk? Lucas asked back while training. Nor, by the way, what is the name of the word you said before? Fishing. Yes, Dr. Vegapunk is not here, Tenten is still a bit unaccustomed to fishing. Quote. In the distance, Monet's figure gradually appeared. Hearing the sound of running, Lucas and Zondao Maru turned their heads to look. Something. I'm awakened. Monet looked at Lucas excitedly. Oh, Lucas pushed Monet away, don't affect my training. Quote. Chapter 79-78. Surprised. Sakazuki is injured. Seeking collection. Seeking monthly pass. Seeking recommendation. Advertisement. You. Monet looked at Lucas puzzledly. Are you special? Is it all about training? Monet couldn't help taking a look at herself. She thought she was very beautiful and kawaii. Why couldn't she attract this guy? Lucas trained with Zondao Maru for a week, and Dr. Vegapunk and Pelusolino returned. On the second day they came back, Sakazuki also came back. Sakazuki was simply suffocated. As soon as he went out to sea, he rushed directly to New World to show his determination to fight the pirates. Lucas watched Sakazuki's head wrapped in layers of cloth and his left arm in plaster. Ah, this. He can understand the determination to fight against the pirates, but as the man of the three major sauces in the future, which pirate group is he going to fight? The arms are discounted. Lucas couldn't think of it. Besides those few New World big pirates, who else could beat Sakazuki like this? Ahem. Sakazuki's embarrassed old face flushed, and he glared at Lucas. Don't ask so much, have you been out to sea for a long time? Sakazuki looked at each other majestically. Yes, Lucas nodded. I give you a task. You can go to sea tomorrow. Okay, I understand. Lucas nodded, and suddenly felt wrong. You still didn't say which pirate group you were going to fight, you turned the topic off. Why? It's not big or small, don't go training yet. Sakazuki glared at Lucas angrily. Brat, how can I tell you this embarrassing thing? Lucas quickly stood up and walked outside the door. Sakazuki has adopted him until now, Sakazuki has never expected him to call dad or something. He only thought that he had cultivated an excellent marine. Advertisement. Usually the two people even call each other a normal address. But Sakazuki has always maintained the majesty of an old father. When he stares at him, Lucas will be just like Luffy and the others, subconsciously hurting his butt. Hey, that's not right, you tell me who you were beaten like this, and when I become stronger in the future, I will beat you back. Lucas walked to the door and said with a smile. HMPH, wait until you pass me before you talk big. Sakazuki snorted coldly, saying that the brat would be good at saying good things, but seeing Lucas who hadn't left for a long time, he sighed helplessly and said 3 words, Whitebeard. Ah, this. Lucas never expected that their old beanie would be brave enough to challenge Whitebeard. Really brave. Lucas instantly felt that his impression of Sakazuki in his previous life had changed a lot. Look, the top war hasn't started yet, and their old beanie has gone to fight Whitebeard. I'm going to train first, old bean. Lucas gave Sakazuki a thumbs up before leaving. Quote. Sakazuki looked at Lucas dumbfounded. You keep calling me old bean, what do you mean? You guess. Quote. On the second day, Lucas learned of the task Sakazuki had arranged for him. He took Buggy, Monet, and Akin on a warship and left Marineford. According to intelligence, Pelusolino Vice Admiral dispatched Rear Admiral Kadal from the G2 branch to investigate the rising pirates of the sun. It's just that Kadaru's self-confidence that didn't know where it came from, actually expanded to ignore Pelusolino's instructions, and attack the pirates of the sun without authorization, and finally ended in annihilation. And now, the Pirates of the Sun has nothing to do. Because Lucas destroyed the plot and took Koala away, the captain of the Pirates of the Sun, Fisher Tiger, was not caught by Barry Rear Admiral's trap calculation. Tiger is alive and well. Stallo Barry Rear Admiral set up a trap on another island to prepare for Tiger. But the plot has been severely damaged. This time, Tiger was not fooled. Tiger, who was supposed to have lost too much blood in the trap and did not accept human blood, is now alive and kicking with his pirate group to attack human trafficking ships, waves everywhere, and oppose celestial dragons. Marine is often sent to deal with them, but they are basically defeated. Tiger's heart was a little better. He would only knock down Marine, and then take people away, not thinking about hurting people's lives. But his Arlong is different, catching who kills who. Advertisement. But this time, Sakazuki and Pelusolino discussed and handed over the task of chasing the Pirates of the Sun to their two Rear Admiral. Of course Sakazuki sent Lucas, while Pelusolino still sent Barry Rear Admiral. The two warships sailed side by side, sailing towards the place where the Pirates of the Sun appeared in the intelligence. On the warship next door, wearing a navy hat, wearing a cloak, and keeping a long blackbeard, Stallo Barry walked on the moonwalk to Lucas's warship. Lucas looked at each other's two knives. Stallo Barry was using the second knife, originally one of the former Marine Admiral Black Arm Zephyr disciples. Let's discuss the countermeasures, Stallo Barry said, looking at Lucas. Lucas nodded, and the two walked into the captain's room and put the information on the conference table. Lucas admired Fisher Tiger very much. This guy was able to do things like climbing on the red line and making a big fuss of Mariajoy. Only Tiger makes Mariajoy uproar, let go of a large number of slaves, and let them be free. This is enough to make him leave a name in the history of the entire world. What Fisher Tiger did was just to resist injustice, and it also represented a kind of resistance to celestial dragons, who like buying slaves the most. But the courage is commendable. Lucas admires the opponent, but people who would not agree with him also did such a thing. Because strength is the root of everything, and only when strength reaches a certain level can you truly resist. So on this trip, he just killed Arlong and then planned to fight the opponent. Tiger made a big fuss. Mariajoy made him a high position in many people's hearts, but Lucas didn't worry about the opponent's strength at all. In the original book, Stallo Barry and his Marines besieged Tiger, leaving him severely wounded and dying. In this world where cannon fodder can be swept with absolute force, Tiger's calculations can only prove that Tiger's strength is only slightly stronger than Stallo Barry. Of course, Lucas can only know the specifics in actual combat. These are theoretical speculations. After discussing the countermeasures, Lucas invited Stallo Barry to give it a try. After all, this Rear Admiral is also one of Zephyr's disciples. Lucas is very interested to try it. With pleasure. Stallo Barry nodded. The young man wanted to compete with him. Of course, he had to take the opportunity to give some guidance. The two walked out of the house and came to the deck. Be careful. Stallo Barry pulled out two long knives. Chapter 8079. Kira. My friends don't want me. Seeking investment. Seeking recommendation. Seeking monthly pass. Advertisement. I'll let you do some. Please do your best. Stallo Barry crossed his swords in front of him, and said solemnly. He had never seen Lucas do it, and he didn't know the strength of the opponent. However, as one of Zephyr's disciples, Stallo Barry has enough confidence that he is better than Lucas. After all, he is only a kid who is only 18 years old. Even if the opponent's rank rises quickly, it can be said to be Marine's only one in recent years. But Stallo Barry doesn't think that a kid who is less than 18 years old can be so strong. Please do your best, Lucas said solemnly. The reason why he wants to compete with Stallo Barry is only because he wants to use the other side to measure Tiger's strength. Well, Stallo Barry is now a unit of measurement in his eyes. Understood. Then, let's start. Stallo Barry nodded, and rushed directly, using a proficient double knife to flow towards Lucas. Lucas looked at each other. Since he was trying to guess Tiger's strength, then he would do his best. Directly open 44 times the power and 44 times the speed increase. Lucas disappeared. Fast speed. Stallo Barry saw Lucas running around him at high speed. Lucas rushed directly from Stallo Barry's side and slashed. Stallo Barry felt it, but the opponent's speed was too fast and too fast. He did not react at all. Lucas was already close, and there was no chance to resist. Lucas's knife lay not far in front of Stallo Barry, and stopped, not going forward. Stallo Barry got up with goosebumps and looked at each other in surprise. Too pervert. Stallo Barry felt that Lucas's fruit ability was simply pervert unreasonable, which reminded him of a big pirate many years ago. The fruit of Lucas is so similar to the fruit of that man's Momo. I lost. What a great ability. Stallo Barry looked at Lucas enviously. With such a fast speed and increased power, as a double-blade swordsman, Stallo Barry very envious. Do you want to try it? Lucas smiled and looked at Stallo Barry. Don't be kidding, how can I try your devil fruit ability? Stallo Barry laughed. He completely took Lucas's remarks as a joke. Advertisement. Try it, you can share the increase. Lucas patted Stallo Barry on the shoulder and gave him a 22-fold increase. I'm joking again. Stallo Barry smiled helplessly, turned and stepped to get back to his warship. Whoosh. Boom. Stallo Barry's body was completely out of control. As quickly as a shadow, it smashed the railing directly. Puff. Stallo Barry fell into the sea, clutching the rope, and returned to the boat with a dazed expression. Why am I so fast? Berry's brain is blank, looking up at Lucas who was handing a towel. Share increase. Berry remembered what Lucas said, and looked at each other with surprise. Can you really share? Lucas didn't laugh at each other. After all, when he was a child, when he first developed the ability to share the increase, even Sakazuki was stunned for a while. So, Lucas is actually a buff wholesaler plus berserker. Want to try? Lucas smiled and looked at each other. No need. Berry flatly refused. After this incident, he knew that this high-speed sprint ability was not suitable for him. The opponent trains slowly from low to high, and the neural response speed is definitely much faster than him, otherwise it is impossible to control it at that high speed. The ability to increase speed is exclusive to the opponent, and Berry is still very close. It is said that the high-speed ability is very powerful, but the speed is fast to a certain extent. When fighting, it is not only the physical skills and the different speed that are tested, but also the reaction speed. What multiplication rate did you share with me just now? Berry asked curiously. It's not too much, it's 22 times faster. Lucas said with a smile. Quote. Berry looked at each other suspiciously. The 22x speed is so fast. How long did the opponent adapt to the 44x speed before he developed a matching reaction speed? It must have suffered a lot. Too strong. I now understand how difficult it is for you to become Rear Admiral at such a young age. Berry looked at Lucas with admiration. Advertisement. A lot of effort must have been made to develop the ability to such a strong level. I don't know if you can become Admiral before the age of 20. I really look forward to it. Berry joked. Quote. Lucas seriously suspected that this guy was cursing one of the three major sauces in the future. If he became Admiral before he was 20 years old, it would not be impossible, unless one of the yellow sauce, red sauce, and green sauce had an accident in the past few years. Ha ha ha, then I have to redouble my efforts. Lucas said with a smile. But I said in my heart, no matter if something happens, it's better to have an accident with Dian Yuan Huangzhong. According to information, the Sun Pirates are still staying in the waters near the entrance of New World. They passed the Fishmen Island all the way to New World, ready to attack the Pirates of the Sun. However, along the way, Lucas also saw the bravery of Berry. As long as he saw the pirate ship, he would attack the pirate group. As an ape who can fish and fish, Pelusolino's subordinates are more active than anyone else in seeing the pirates. Lucas has reacquainted Kizaru's subordinates. The chief is leisurely fishing, and the subordinate loves to work overtime more than the other. He now finally understood why Admiral next door got worse the more he thought about it. The essence of the subordinates is to stab the officer back. At the same time, South Blue is an island called Leiden. This place is different than before. The rubbish has long since disappeared. All the people on this island originally went to participate in marine, and few dared to bully them. At this time, a small boat docked on the shore. A little devil with yellow hair followed a girl behind him. He scratched his hair and looked at this familiar and unfamiliar place. This is my hometown. Karaxan said, where did so much steel trash go? Hira is Kid's good friend, and the two of them play together until they grow up, and it can be said that they are inseparable. It's just that they fell in love with a little girl at the same time. Her name is Silton Druyanika. Hira thinks she is very smart, and she is rowing a boat to chase the girl by herself, leaving Kid where she swears. After chasing for a while, Hira found the girl and met her, but unfortunately, she did not catch up with her. But Hira, who searched the entire island, sat down on the ground in despair. Kid, where did you be ******** D go? Chapter 8180. Looking for friends Kira, Rosinant and Luo. Look for a monthly pass. Please recommend. Please give a reward. Advertisement. Because of the existence of Lucas, the natural disaster, the plot has long been ruined beyond recognition. The original trajectory should be like this. Hira became friends with the girl named Silton de Luaneka, and then came back to find Kid, and the three became friends. The three of them went to eat curry udon together. After eating, they were covered with curry soup. The two of them laughed and the girl was angry. She beat them up and dumped them. And because of this, two good friends will hate eating udon noodles in their lives. But now things have changed. Kid has been taken away, and Kira is the only thing left. Where is Kid? The girl asked with a shrug. Hey, where are you going? The girl looked at Kira silently and left in confusion. Look for Kid, I will find him in my life. Kira walked away without looking back. What about me? The girl stomped angrily. Whatever. Kira said with a cold snort. Friends are true love, women will only affect the speed of fencing Kira. You. The girl glared at Kira angrily, but she could only watch the other person leave. They are just ordinary friends. Kira is going to find Kid. It is impossible for the girl to follow each other around the world to find people. I know where to get news from Kid. The girl shouted. Oh, Kira turned around and looked at each other curiously, say. I heard that everyone here has gone to the marine base of the South Blue 203 branch to join the army. You may find news of him there. After the girl said, Kira nodded and continued to walk towards the boat. In this way, Kira embarked on a journey to find Kid. Good friends, wait, I will find you. A few days later, South Blue 203 Marine Branch. Dozens of Marines looked at Kira who came to the door and laughed. You look for the Kid, ha ha ha, unfortunately. Your Kid is too late, right? Kid was taken away long ago. It's a pity, ha ha ha. Quote. Hira looked at these people blankly. His good friend Kid is not here. Advertisement. Hira sat down on the ground in despair, and Kid was taken by Marine to Marineford, the headquarters of Marineford. Kid, you be *********D. You clearly said that you want to be a pirate together, but you ran to be a Marine by yourself. Hira thought angrily, hammering the ground with his fist angrily, wishing to beat Kid. What's the matter? At this moment, a Marine colonel came out and watched these guys surround a child. Colonel, this is Kid's friend. Oh, the colonel looked at Kira curiously, with messy yellow hair that covered his eyes. Just this mess of hair, it's a fight with Kid's little devil. Kid was brought to Marineford by Lucas Rear Admiral, so let's go to Marineford for training tomorrow. Then I will send you to find Kid. The colonel patted Kira's head and said gently. Well, you can take me to find my brother, thank you, but don't touch my hair. Kira clapped the colonel's hand unbelief. Ha ha ha, the colonel laughed helplessly. This Kid's stinky temper really matched Kid's. Really worthy of being a good brother. At the same time, a small town on an island somewhere on the Grand Line. Here, in the cold winter all year round, this is a winter island. Young Luo stood in the yard, wearing a hat, reaching out to catch a falling snowflake. Seeing this snowflake, he couldn't help but remind him of the island that he couldn't forget. Last year, they were trapped by Doflamingo's birdcage in North Blue, and Rocinante was seriously injured in order to grab op fruit. If it weren't for the Marine named Lucas to arrive in time, Rocinante would die that night, and they would most likely be caught by Doflamingo. Can you tell me about Lucas? Luo turned and walked into the room, looking at Rocinante expectantly. And at this moment, the idiot Rocinante was wearing an apron and was cooking awkwardly. Jingle. The pot was awkwardly touched by him and fell to the ground. Quote. Luo covered his forehead with a headache, this idiot. Rocinante looked at Luo awkwardly, and fell to the ground with a buttock. She couldn't help but smile at her clumsiness. Ha ha ha, how about we go out to eat and talk while eating? Okay. Luo promised nervously. Advertisement. Luo secretly made up his mind that starting from tomorrow, he must learn to cook, otherwise Rocinante would be too clumsy to mess things up. Rocinante put on clothes, and also put a thick cotton coat on Luo, locked the door, and walked out. Pieces of snowflakes dance and fall like thin pieces of beautiful crystal, covering Luo's hat with a thin layer of crystal clear white snow. Luo shook his head and shook the snow away. After North Blue failed to round up Doflamingo, Rocinante took Luo away from North Blue and hid in an island at the corner of the Grand Line, where he lives today. Luo was also very upbeat and successfully developed op fruit and completely cured his illness. Rocinante completely abandoned the identity of Marine, took Luo to live here, took care of Luo, and taught Luo. And Rocinante would not want to tell Lucas the secret, and told Luo. Luo cheese op fruit, whether it is celestial dragons behind the world government or Doflamingo from the Don Quixote family, I want to get it. Because it is said that the person who eats op fruit can do a longevity operation for others at the end of the development. But this is also the cruelest thing about Luo, that is the price of longevity surgery, the life of the operator. Rocinante absolutely does not allow Luo to perform this operation on celestial dragons or Doflamingo. However, compared to the original work where Rocinante died under Doflamingo's gun, Luo could only escape in pain. Now this ending is very good. Inside a restaurant. Rocinante ordered several dishes, 2 warm soups, and staple food. Luo sat on the chair, swinging his calves, looking around. Lucas has been wandering in North Blue since he was a child. He had a tragic experience. He almost died in the hands of a pirate. It was Sakazuki Vice Admiral who rescued him. Rocinante told Lucas. The stories are told to Luo one by one. He must hate pirates. Luo Gon said empathetically. Luo's country is a country abandoned by the royal family. The royal family mines a toxic mineral, causing the entire country to fall into a terrifying disease that is deeply inherited. The royal family ran away, and various countries hated them as civilians and refused them entry. In the end, the conflict escalated to the level of destroying the people of his country. Luo's family and friends were all killed by those guys. At the beginning, his whole person was in a state of extreme hatred for others. Hate, who can not hate, even if it grows, it is impossible to wipe out that hate. Rocinante held a cigarette in his hand, thinking of the young Marineford figure back then. Regarding the Marine branch number, I haven't found the branch information for a long time. There are only a few branches that have appeared, so here is a branch number written by myself. Don't spray if you don't like it. Chapter 82-81. Lucas vs. Jinbei. Seeking recommendation. Asking for reward. Asking monthly pass. Advertisement. New World. A 3-masted sailing ship sails slowly. The sea breeze blows the sails, and there is a big red sun sign on the sails. This is the pirate ship of the Pirates of the Sun. Boom. Tiger punched Arlong in the head. Why are you hitting me, boss? Arlong clutched his head, it just killed a few inferior creatures. Shut up. Tiger punched the table angrily. Some humans discriminate against us, should we learn from them? We are not a killing group. Tiger looked at Jinbei and Arlong angrily. Jinbei is a good educator, but Arlong. No matter what he teaches, he just doesn't change it. Princess Otahime is in the Fishmen Island, hoping to make Murlocs and humans live in peace in a peaceful way. And Jinbei led his little brothers to form the Pirates of the Sun. He would often encounter human trafficking ships, and would often kill human traffickers and let go of those poor people. In this way, they are engaged in their own struggle. It's just that the struggle Tiger hopes is not to completely oppose humans, or to make Murlocs hate humans without a brain. He hopes to get fairness through force. It's just that Tiger's force obviously hasn't reached the level that makes celestial dragons fearful. When Mariajoy was upset, he also sneaked up from the red line. Boom boom boom. What's the situation? Tiger quickly stood up, listening to the deafening cannons, and hurriedly ran out of the captain's room. The whole ship was shaking violently. A shell fell in the distance and exploded, shaking the whole ship. Damn, these lowly guys dare to catch up. Arlong gritted his teeth and stared at the two warships in the distance. Shut up. Tiger looked back and glared at Arlong. Why this guy didn't hear of teaching. Far away, Lucas stood in front of the cannon and watched Buggy load the buggy bullets in. He personally aimed the cannon at the pirates of the sun. Boom. A shell was fired, the cannon went outrageously, and the huge waves that shook hit all the members of the pirates of the sun. Quote. Stallo Berry, Rear Admiral on the warship next door, glanced at him silently. Stallo Berry, who has been following Pelusolino for so many years, understood that it was another one. Little actor. Advertisement. Hey. Stallo Berry drew out a pair of knives and stood on the boat quietly waiting. The pirates of the sun were good at water warfare. They usually dive into the water, rush to the warship, and board the warship for surprise attacks. What he needs to do is to quietly wait for the pirates of the sun to rush over. As long as the opponent is on a warship, even an excellent ape like Pelusolino can get a helping hand. Oh, their helmsman is so good, hiding too fast, Lucas said in Pelusolino's tone. Buggy couldn't help laughing. It would be even more like the phrase, Kawaii ne. Kawain. Lucas watched as the pirates of the sun jumped into the water and set fire to them. Boom. I missed it in one shot. Puff. Buggy shut up quickly and lost his mind. Lucas's performance is really like Pelusolino's Vice Admiral. Lucas glared at Buggy, then at the pirates of the sun. In fact, he also had his own plan. Except for the guy Arlong, the pirates of the sun, who hated the sting of humans without the brain, most of the Murlocs still listen to Tiger's words and don't kill humans indiscriminately. The pirates of the sun itself was established to fight injustice and racial discrimination. And the discrimination of a small number of humans against the pirates of the sun can actually be seen as the celestial dragons oppressing the entire human group at will, and whoever wants to be a slave will be a slave. This is a miniature of reality. Different routes lead to the same goal, but their purpose is the same. The rebellion is to overthrow the rule of celestial dragons. The greatest enemy of these Murlocs is also celestial dragons. Because the customer who buys the most Murlocs every year is celestial dragons. Marine, I have to say, in fact, most Marines still hate celestial dragons. As for why not directly resist, because there are many factors. First, Marine is the strength that the world government provides funds to establish, and the capital chain is stuck with Marine. Second, the celestial dragons have not fallen for so many years, they must have the cards to guarantee the regime. For example, Lord Yim, it is possible that this old immortal fellow is very strong. Otherwise, Roger won't let the people who are still alive wait for an opportunity. The kind of people who Tenten yells at the ducks are basically the worst dead. Such as O'Hara. The Murloc species actually possessed good naval battle capabilities, and Lucas also wanted to recruit some Murloc subordinates. Of course, as long as they don't take the initiative to meet celestial dragons, there is not much trouble. Therefore, Lucas wants to cooperate with the Murlocs, so, learning Pelusolino to paddle is over. Boom. Advertisement. The shell fell into the sea. Ah, the shot was missed. Lucas spread his hands helplessly, and then hit the Murloc who climbed up with a punch. However, after all, the fight still has to be fight. Lucas left the position of the cannon and knocked the Murloc down with one punch after another. Suddenly, a shark man wearing a blue hat and holding a big saw blade climbed up. Arlong stared at Lucas fiercely, and rushed up directly, slashing at him. Go to hell, you mean creature. Arlong shouted angrily. Click. Lucas quickly drew his knife, and cut Arlong's big saw blade with a single knife. Arlong then bit Lucas with one bite. Even if Arlong doesn't use a big saw blade, his body is a weapon. Only, Lucas has power gains, and Arlong can't beat him at all. Just as Arlong turned around, Lucas kicked his face, and his arm-covered foot directly bent the sawtooth on Arlong's nose. Ah! Arlong let out a scream, and he was kicked backwards. Arlong! Jinbei shouted, and quickly forced Stallo Berry away, rushing to the warship, blocking Lucas. The present Jinbei is not yet the future seaman Jinbei, and he has not fully understood Tiger's education. I hate humans more or less, but he can listen to Tiger better than Arlong. Lucas walked to the left, Jinbei stretched out his hands to stop him and follow her. I won't let you pass. Jinbei remembered Big Brother Tiger's words, this time the conflict did not hit humans cruelly. But Arlong is his companion, he will not watch Arlong be killed. Get out of the way. Lucas shouted angrily. Murlocs can befriend and cooperate, but Arlong must die. Sorry, I apologize to you for the humans he killed. I can be punished for him, but you can't hurt my companion. Jinbei stood firm in front of Lucas. Assholes, you lowly humans. Arlong stood up, covering his face faintly being knocked down. You shut up. Jinbei yelled, so scared that Arlong didn't dare to speak. Jinbei saw Lucas playing Arlong, it was a spike. Even with his current strength, he dare not say that he could kill Arlong directly in seconds. The man in front of him was very strong. Celestial dragons can stand for hundreds of years, and they definitely have their whole cards. Before the protagonist's strength becomes enough to crush him, it is impossible to lift the table, but he will not really work for celestial dragons. Celestial dragons, some Tenton-scolded world government stooges, really no brains to scold them. Write the pirates and scold the three views, write marine, scold the lackeys, pen for you, you write. How many times I've said it, I still have no brain spray, and I'm so annoyed. Chapter 83-82. Oops, I got stronger, Arlong accidentally died. Look for a monthly pass. Advertisement. Arlong glanced at the weak-looking female sailor next to him. He spat out his broken teeth and new sharp teeth grew in his mouth. While Jinbei was talking to Lucas, he bit at the woman and bit him. Go to hell, you fragile rubbish. Monet was not afraid at all, and he breathed. The deck under Arlong's feet was suddenly covered by layers of ice and snow. The snow was getting more and more, the temperature was getting lower and lower, and Arlong's speed was getting slower and slower. Arlong was shocked, and quickly stepped back, looking at Monet warily. Click. The temperature of the snow continued to drop, and the deck was directly cracked by the extreme cold. Although Monet's fruit is snow fruit, the only difference between her fruit and Kuzan's frozen fruit is the different starting point. When Kuzan stepped forward, he could directly freeze the object. And Monet could only use snow at first, but snow can keep cooling down after her many attempts. It's just that, to reach the level of horror like Kuzan, Monet needs to put in more effort to develop and practice, and it will consume more physical strength. But now, Monet can control the snow, surround the enemy, and directly freeze the enemy, and even use the low temperature to freeze the liquid of the human body. Snow and ice are synonymous with cold. Arlong understood how difficult Monet was to deal with, and then set his sights on the red-nosed marine. Oh, don't come here. Buggy looked at Arlong in fear and backed away. He joined Marine with his skills. He is not good at fighting. Huh, go to hell, rubbish. Arlong rushed to Buggy, biting him. Buggy smiled, torn apart. Arlong pounced. Taste my latest invention, a smaller version of Buggy. Buggy raised his foot to aim at Arlong, a small hole suddenly appeared on the sole of his foot, and a small buggy ejected in front of Arlong. What? Arlong was directly hit by a small buggy bomb, and he fell to the side in black smoke. Fraud. All liars. All of them behaved so indifferently and fragilely, and as a result, they played more fiercely than one by one. There was black smoke in Arlong's mouth, and his new teeth were dead again. A Jin on the side also looked at Buggy in surprise. This guy actually developed a reduced version of Buggy. With chop fruit, this combat power is really too strong. Advertisement. At this time, Tiger led the Murloc, and Stallo Berry, who fought on the opposite warship, kept backing away. Tiger's overall strength, heads up, is definitely better than Stallo Berry. Quote. Jinbei could see that the rear admiral in front of him was different from the other marines. He didn't have much malice towards the Murlocs. Because the people on this ship can knock the Murloc down at most, and the next door is really trying to kill the Murloc. We can talk. Jinbei shouted. Yes, but not now. Lucas said, disappearing directly in front of Jinbei. What? Jinbei looked at the empty front in shock, who suddenly disappeared. Before Jinbei could react, Lucas came directly to Arlong. Who do you mean? Lucas punched Arlong in the face, breaking Arlong's teeth directly. You lowly human. Arlong stared at Lucas fiercely, new teeth grew in his mouth again, and he took a bite. The mouth smells so bad. Lucas punched Arlong's mouth again, smashing the opponent's teeth again. Woo! Arlong cried out in pain, the older brother had never beaten him so hard. No. Jinbei rushed over, trying to stop Lucas. Huh. Lucas lifted his leg and kicked Jinbei directly with a side kick. As soon as Arlong had a new set of teeth, he saw the punching fist that dominates his psychological shadow hitting him. Ah! Arlong let out a scream, and his teeth broke again. Special. 2 bully Murloc. 2 insult to the Murloc. Let your eldest brother Tiger retreat. Lucas pinched Arlong's neck and smashed it again with a punch, directly smashing Arlong's hard-earned tooth again. Arlong is almost crying. If you want to kill you quickly. This is too painful. Staring at NM, Lucas stunned Arlong, who was angrily growing teeth again and struggling to bite him. Boom. Woo. The teeth in Arlong's mouth shattered again. Brother, stop, Arlong has been caught. Jinbei shouted, drawing Tiger's sight. Go away. Tiger punched Stallo Berry back, and brought the people to Lucas's boat. Friends, please let go of Arlong, everything is easy to discuss. Tiger stretched out his hand and said. Advertisement. When dealing with Stallo Berry just now, Tiger also saw the situation of another ship, compared to the other marine that Ishan wanted to kill them. Lucas's move was just to knock the Murloc down, but it didn't hurt his life. And this kind of people is actually the reason Tiger has hope for mankind now. The current Tiger has never sent Koala home, nor has he been trapped. He still believes that there are still many good people among human beings. And this rear admiral also seemed to be kind to the Murloc, and the other party was just following orders. If the other party really wants to attack them, the situation is far worse than it is now. He scolded me. I'm careful and very vengeful. Lucas punched Arlong in the face, and said helplessly. I apologize to you for him, let him go, friend. Tiger took 2 steps forward. Bang bang. Lucas struck Arlong's head with 2 consecutive punches. With his fists covered in armed color, Arlong was so dizzy that he had been beaten long ago. Tiger stepped back quickly. It seemed that Arlong himself was too much. He had to get in trouble with Rear Admiral, who was kind to the Murloc. Surrender immediately, and we will imprison you into impel down without hurting your lives. Rear Admiral Stallo was very excited to see such a good opportunity. Lucas caught Tiger's younger brother in the Pirates of the Sun, and that would be easy. Let down the weapon. The Marines shouted. Tiger took a deep breath. Let down your weapon. Big brother. Aladdin looked at Tiger anxiously, and they would really be finished when they put down their weapons. Let go. Tiger shouted. Arlong was their companion anyway. Although very disobedient, it treats humans too much. But Tiger still wanted to save the little brother. Click. Lucas broke Arlong's neck directly. Ah, sorry, I accidentally used too much strength. Lucas gave Arlong's body a side with a light shake. Jinbei was angry about to rush up and punch Lucas. Where's the person? Jinbei looked at Lucas who had disappeared where he was. Suddenly Lucas appeared behind him. Jinbei quickly turned around and beat him. Lucas disappeared again, then appeared behind Jinbei and kicked Jinbei away. Chapter 84-83. Dressrosa. For collection. For monthly pass. For reward. Advertisement. Tiger also rushed up, but even he did not keep up with Lucas's speed. Boom. Lucas kicked Tiger and kicked Tiger directly. Wow. Tiger and Jinbei landed in the sea and looked at each other. I don't know when the B********** D Arlong provoked such a strong human being. Puff puff puff. The Murlocs of the Pirates of the Sun were kicked down like dumplings. They originally wanted to get angry and fight back. As a result, a huge chopping wave flew directly from the boat, directly falling, and hitting them in front of them, stirring up huge waves. Let's go. Tiger yelled, dived into the water and headed for their pirate boat. In the sea water, Jinbei looked at his eldest brother with an unwilling expression on his face. Shut up. Go back and talk about it. Tiger gave Jinbei a look. Tiger thinks about it carefully now, and he realizes that Rear Admiral is only killing Arlong alone. Throughout the entire process, the other party did not kill most of their Murlocs, and still had good intentions. Kill Jinbei with one kick, and kill him with one kick. Tiger understood that if the other party really wanted to kill them, they would have killed them long ago. Let's go. Arlong himself hates humans too much, and he can only blame himself for this end. Tiger has automatically made up for Arlong's indiscriminate killing of innocent humans in private. Back on the boat, Tiger led the fish people, evading the shelling, and fleeing here. Tiger looked at Lucas on the warship and remained silent for a long time. It would be great if there were more human beings with kindness to Murlocs. Jinbei, you have to remember that there are actually many people who are kind to us. This Rear Admiral is one of them. Arlong has done his own crime. Don't hate him. Tiger turned to look at Jinbei and said. Understand. Jinbei nodded. If Arlong can listen to Big Brother, he won't end up like this. Yeah, Tiger nodded, hoping that one day they can cooperate with someone who is kind to the Murloc, such as the one opposite. Why did you kill Arlong? Stallo Berry looked at Lucas with a gloomy face. If Lucas held Arlong and threatened Tiger, their mission would have been completed. He is a pirate. I have a problem with killing him. Lucas said slyly. Stallo Berry was choked directly. Yeah, he is a pirate. Kill if he wants. Advertisement. If you threaten Tiger with Arlong. I didn't hear. Lucas shrugged. I'm sorry. Huh. Stallo Berry took a few deep breaths. Calm. This kid can kill you with one move. You can't beat him. Stallo Berry suddenly felt that Lucas is too much like Pelusolino. It's not like the marine that Sakazuki can teach. He believed that this kid was Pelusolino's disciple. Nothing. Keep chasing. Stallo Berry loosened his fist and returned to his warship. When a person's boss and colleague are an ape, that person is really desperate, such as Stallo Berry. It has been a week since the last time. They went to the nearby marine branch to change supplies, but still did not find a trace of the Pirates of the Sun. The other party seemed to have evaporated. Stallo Berry and Lucas, look at their behavior from their perspective. In fact, there is nothing wrong. Storo Berry is indeed a just marine, he will eliminate the pirates and fight for a peaceful living environment for ordinary people. From a human point of view, he is the righteous marine. He pursued the Pirates of the Sun, only acting on orders. As a soldier, order is a bounden duty. He must execute the order. Although the Pirates of the Sun did not kill innocent people indiscriminately except Arlong. And Lucas, as a secretly educating Luffy them, trained them to become marines, and instilled his thoughts a little bit secretly. He actually wants to secretly accumulate strength and develop his loyal subordinates in marine. When the time is right and his strength is enough to deal with Lord Yimu, he will choose to take the lead in dealing with celestial dragons. And the Murloc is good at water warfare, which is also a force he needs right now. He needs such subordinates, but also for the justice in his heart. That's why he took kindness to the Murlocs and secretly released the water to let them go. The old man Garp is on the top of the war and still releases the sea to his grandson. How can he not release the water to release goodwill to the Murlocs and win some allies? Neither of them is wrong. Blame this wrong world. Sorry, the animation went wrong, and celestial dragons is the blame. The tyranny of celestial dragons is the biggest source of turbulence in the entire world. Advertisement. This day, night, received the information, the Pirates of the Sun appeared in Dressrosa. In the meeting room on the ship, Stallo Berry excitedly photographed the information on the table. He looked at Lucas excitedly. Let's go to Dressrosa and chase them. Use buggy bombs to sink them directly. Stalo said excitedly. Okay. Lucas nodded and applauded the passage. It has been many days since that unpleasant thing last time, and Stalo just thinks that Lucas is young and vigorous and simply hates pirates. Stalo sulked himself for a while, and didn't blame Lucas. After all, everyone has a young impulse. To be truly impulsive, then Kadaru, who attacked the pirates of the sun without his own ability, was the most impulsive. But, poor Stalo didn't even notice, Lu and pirates of the sun had already met each other. For the Murlocs who have the hope of cooperation, Lucas has never thought of actually doing it. After all, according to intelligence, Tenten just chased the traffickers. After Arlong's death, the voices in the Pirates of the Sun group became more consistent. They listened to Tiger's words very well and would not harm humans. Poor Stalo who is usually played by his boss Kizaru, is played by his colleagues on a mission, a miserable group. The two warships rushed to Dressrosa overnight. Stalo also told Lucas the story of Lucas not being a marine, and Stalo and his generation pursued the pirates together. He remembered that when Pelusolino was 31 years old, he was with Sengoku and he was behind. Fight against the pirates everywhere, slowly rising up little by little. Stalo suddenly remembered that Lucas's marine career was basically smooth except for the time when he was transferred to South Blue. And it's the youngest Rear Admiral in recent years. Suddenly feel a little bit heartbroken. Dressrosa is here, Lucas said with a breath. Well, hunt down the pirates of the sun. Stalo shouted with a wave. Your warship is sailing around Dressrosa looking for the pirate ship of the pirates of the sun, and I will take people to the island to search. Stalo said to Lucas, taking his men, the general ship docked, and went to Dressrosa first check the pirates of the sun. Okay, Lucas ordered, taking the warship around the island to find the pirate ship. Chapter 85-84. Kata Curry. Fight with me. For investment. For monthly pass. For reward. Advertisement. Lucas led his warship around the entire Dressrosa and sailed around the entire Dressrosa. He didn't see the pirate's sun ship at all. It is estimated that the pirate's sun had run away early. Sitting on the deck, Lucas looked at the island in front of him. Dressrosa, although avoiding the fate of being ruled by the Don Quixote family of Doflamingo. However, this place is still the land of the fairies of love and passion. Oda gave the name of this country. The dress, in the first paragraph means dress and decoration, and the rosa, in the latter paragraph is the Latin rose. During the blank 100 years, royal families from all over the world crusade against a great kingdom, and the original Dressrosa royal family Don Quixote family, who was also deceived by someone, went together to crusade against a great kingdom. Under the leadership of a certain man, they defeated that great kingdom, settled together in Mariajoy, and became celestial dragons. A certain man doesn't call his name anymore, understand? Dressrosa lost the royal family, and naturally a new royal family rule will be born, that is, the Liku family. The original Don Quixote family, like Doflamingo, likes to use the villains as slaves. The new royal family's King Liku is different from Don Quixote. He personally apologized to the villains, abolished the slavery of the villains, and compiled a legend of fairy, so that people would not disturb the villains. After a long time, Dressrosa's the little humans live in peace with people. This is the origin of the fairyland of love and passion. Lucas sighed. Stalo Rear Admiral has not returned yet. He is really a workaholic. It is estimated that Pelusolino is also suffering from backstabs like this. Bring the phone bug, Lucas contacted Stalo. We have looked for it. There are no ships of the pirates of the sun. Where are you there? Lucas asked with a breath. We didn't find it, but we found a big fish. Stalo said. Oh, Lucas came interested. What big fish? I believe you will be very interested, Kata Curry from Big Mom. Stalo said with no complacency. Puff. Lucas just took a sip of water and sprayed it directly. Who? Charlotte Kata Curry. Stalo said excitedly. Hurry back. Lucaston stood up. This guy, who has become so many Marines, doesn't have any compelling ability for him. I think the two of us should be able to beat him, with your speed and my strength. Stalo just finished speaking and hung up quickly. Dressrosa, the edge of the city. The tall man with short amaranth hair, strong muscles and long legs, hiding the lower part of his face in his clothes, walked out of the city and squeezed his fists. Advertisement. Come out. Kata Curry stopped in place, shouting to the rear. Kata Curry, you can catch with your hands, there will be reinforcements coming to arrest you soon. Stalo put away the phone worm, drew out the double knife and stood up and said confidently. Although he knew that Kata Curry was strong, he was strong enough to hit him with one hand. But, Stalo has seen the strength of Lucas Pervert, and it is not an exaggeration to call it the first person in Marine's younger generation. He has enough confidence that Lucas can beat Kata Curry. Lucas. I thank you family. You are. Kata Curry looked at each other with a puzzled look. When did New World appear such a strong Marine? Seeing this overwhelming self-confidence, Kata Curry looked at each other seriously. But, why has he never heard of Marine's top combat power with this number? I'm Stalo one of Zephyr's disciples, Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral. Stalo said confidently in front of him with a double knife holder. I haven't heard of it. Kata Curry shook his head. In Stalo sense of sight, hearing, and perception, Lucas had been rushed quickly, and his face was happy, but before he could start the fight, he was punched and flew by Kata Curry. Katakuri looked at Strawberry indifferently, his knowledge foreseen Strawberry's shot, so he shot it early. Huh. Katakuri turned and looked into the distance. Lucas knew things were going bad since he was hung up by Strawberry. Strawberry's naive man was definitely discovered by Katakuri. Katakuri is one of the few ruthless characters in One Piece who can predict the short-lived future. The abuser Luffy doesn't want it. Lucas still suspects that Katakuri and Luffy in the original work are suspected of releasing water. After all, Charlotte Linlin kills her children as soon as she goes mad. Charlotte Linlin just uses her children as a tool for her power expansion. She doesn't care about the life and death of her children. Ka-er loves his younger brothers and sisters, and he doesn't want to see the family going on like this. It's good to let the water go. Of course, this is just his guess as a Hamey. Lucas's S increase is only a short-term increase in power, should he not be armed with the top skills of seeing and hearing, or not. Facing Katakuri, he had no bottom in his heart. But Strawberry is a scam. Advertisement. He didn't even develop his equipment, so he rushed towards the boss. He started a group. Lucas, who was far away, was about to yell, retreat. When he saw Barry's handsome self-reported family name, and then he was beaten away. He started a group. He gave the head away. Gone. The most terrible thing is that Ka-er noticed Lucas. This is a land battle. Lucas doesn't have a lot of buggy bombs, so he lacks a whole card. Take. Lucas was about to shout, get out of here with Strawberry Rear Admiral, ready to run away after shouting. Katakuri hit directly. Lucas cursed secretly in his heart, and dodged directly to avoid Katakuri's fist. Katakuri rushed quickly, his right arm turned into a glutinous ball, the glutinous ball curled up with a trident, spinning at high speed. Katakuri's trident slammed Lucas fiercely. Lucas instantly entered a state of full speed and strength, and directly avoided Katakuri's trident. The blade was covered with armed color and slashed at Katakuri. Katakuri foresaw Lucas's attack, but in his foresight, he couldn't see the opponent's attack, just like the opponent's extremely fast speed. Katakuri foresaw the scene where he was being beaten out. The wax ball on his right arm came to the middle of the trident's torso and rotated at high speed, turning the trident horizontally like a propeller. Kang! Directly blocked Lucas's knife. The two backed away. Fast speed, he is right, you are really strong. Katakuri said admiringly. Katakuri, as the pillar of the Big Mom Pirates, not staying in IWC, what are you trying to do in Dressrosa? Lucas looked at the other party and scolded. The mother of all nations is enough. Katakuri said, raising the trident, looking at Lucas with a rising war spirit. You are very good, let's have a fight. Quote. That's it. Angry.jpg. 2 Kakaka. Come on, Lucas will fight me. Card 2 possess body.jpg. Chapter 86-85. Katakuri. This person is like me. Look for a monthly pass. Please recommend. Please give a reward. Advertisement. Katakuri looked at Lucas who had disappeared in the same place, very calm. Left. Katakuri quickly dodged to the right to avoid Lucas's attack, then swung his trident and stabbed it up. The speed is too fast. Although it can predict the opponent's behavior, it can't hit the opponent. Katakuri calmly analyzed that his opponent is indeed worth stopping for a while. Snapped. Katakuri pressed the ground with one hand, and the ground under Lucas's feet turned into glutinous rice balls, rising from all directions without dead ends, covered with armed colors, and surrounded Lucas. Run. Katakuri foresaw Lucas's movements, rushed behind a wall of glutinous rice in advance, and punched him up. At the same time, Lucas used a 44-fold increase in armed color, and a few knives opened a hole in the glutinous rice wall that surrounded him. Katakuri wanted to surround him through the cage-like glutinous rice wall, but he could directly break through. Boom. Katakuri blocked Lucas's way out, punched him, and Lucas slashed forward. With one blow, the two of them flew backwards quickly. Bang bang. Each smashed a boulder to pieces. Lucas and Katakuri stood up at the same time. Lucas quickly lifted the increase in his armed forces. This increase is the most physically demanding ability. Now facing Katakuri, his biggest reliance is speed and power increase. By virtue of these two, he can temporarily deal with Katakuri. The increase in armed color will speed up physical exhaustion very quickly, and when he has no energy, it is his death date. Therefore, as a last resort, you don't have to consume the maximum capacity. The consumption of speed and power increase is much lower than that of armed. Quickly bring C. Lucas Rear Admiral, let's help you. Lucas looked at this group of Marines with shock, they rushed over to punch Katakuri. Sign. Katakuri turned and looked at the Marines, a dozen glutinous rice arms appeared behind him, each of his fists covered with armed colors, and he quickly hit the Marines. Quote. Lucas called cheating, instantly rushed in front of Katakuri. Advertisement. Lucas's body moved quickly and constantly, and the knife in his hand kept slashing quickly, blocking a dozen fists from Katakuri's glutinous rice one by one. Katakuri, this is a duel between you and me. Lucas shouted violently. Can't beat, but the momentum cannot be lost. Oh, good. Katakuri nodded, but his fist didn't stop. Katakuri respected his opponent the most, so he just didn't hit those Marines. You left with Strawberry Rear Admiral, do you understand? Lucas quickly blocked his fist while shouting behind him. Lucas Rear Admiral, we can't leave you. The Marines shouted with excitement. Katakuri frowned. Do these guys want to disrupt their duel? Lucas also personally experienced the taste of a backstab at this time. The key is that he and Katakuri will not be able to tell the winner, and he will lose even if he runs out of energy. If these guys don't run, he can't run. Go. Command. Lucas shouted angrily. Yes. The Marines took the seriously injured Stallo Berry and walked around the two and ran away. Boom. Under the siege of more than a dozen huge fists, Lucas was hit by a hammer no matter how fast he was. Boom. Lucas fell into the distance, clutching his body, enduring the pain, and stood up. Only when you are calm, you can use the color of sight. Katakuri looked at Lucas calmly. Lucas held the knife and pretended to continue fighting, and was about to run away in the next moment. But, Rear Admiral, we're here to help you. In the distance, Buggy brought the Marines and rushed over with the cannon, and Akin followed closely. Monet's whole body turned into snowflakes, and it flew quickly, waving her arms, and large snowflakes quickly flew to Katakuri. Each piece of snowflakes kept getting colder and colder, and it also became harder and harder, as hard as steel, attacking Katakuri. In the original animation, Monet's move, typing snow muscle, can form blades of ice and snow on the feathers, and each blade can be as sharp as a real blade. Monet, hurry up and get back on the boat. Lucas shouted, and at the same time kept telling himself, calm down. Kotaku Chestnut body instantly turned into glutinous rice, and directly avoided the snow blade by changing its shape, and the snow blades turned into pieces of ice and snow kept cutting towards Lucas. Lucas quickly avoided. Advertisement. But he is a pirate, and I want to deal with him with you. Monet turned into countless snowflakes, and quickly flew into the sky, avoiding Katakuri's attack and said to Lucas. She really wanted to help Lucas, she wanted to get Lucas's attention from the bottom of her heart. Back then, North Blue, if it weren't for Lucas, their sisters didn't know how they would end up. Go. This is a duel between me and Katakuri. Lucas could not tell that he wanted to run, so he could only persuade Monet and the others to leave here. After all, Monet and the others, and Katakuri are not at the same level as opponents, they can't help, and at the same time, it will be more tiring to make him fight. Understood, we watched you defeat him from a distance. Monet nodded and retreated quickly. Buggy and Akin, who heard this, looked at Lucas with the same admiration, and stopped interfering. What am I? Lucas almost squirted out a mouthful of old blood, look at your sister. Go back to the boat. Lucas yelled, avoiding Katakuri's attack. As everyone knows, Sakazuki is an iron-blooded soldier, and he started to hit Whitebeard with his life. As Sakazuki taught him, he must never let Sakazuki know that he just turned his head and ran away when he met the pirate. Otherwise, he has not been beaten to death by Katakuri, and he will have to be maimed by Sakazuki when he returns. Lucas felt that he was simply possessed by Admiral. Without the strength of Admiral, he had the experience of Admiral being stabbed back by his subordinates. In the distance, his subordinates looked at him with admiration and cheered for him at the same time. Katakuri listened to the cheer. If he was playing against Lucas in IWC, then the fan group composed of his younger siblings should also cheer for him. Lucas, take the move. Katakuri's arms turned into two sticks of glutinous rice gatling, combined with armament hockey. Katakuri directly fired countless fast glutinous rice bullets, and at the same time every stick of glutinous rice bullets. Combine armed colors. Lucas kept dodge the bullets quickly and at the same time backed up. Katakuri keeps up. Since his subordinates wanted to watch, then he moved his position and wouldn't let them watch. As Lucas speeded up, Katakuri's body directly turned into a glutinous rice wheel, chasing quickly. After a while, the two disappeared in front of Monet and others. They have run out of the range of my perception of color, Monet said angrily. I can still feel it, chase after. A Jin said, hey yeah, Dad, please count monthly tickets, use your tickets to ravage me fiercely. Chapter 87-86. A big knife of dozens of meters. Look for a monthly pass. Please recommend. Please give a reward. Advertisement. Chasing. Lucas sensed that Monet and others continued to chase, speeding up, and at the same time Katakuri also speeded up. Why do you want to run? Katakuri appeared in the wheel of glutinous rice and asked puzzledly. Let's try another place where we won't be disturbed. Lucas said. Good. Katakuri agreed. At the same time, the high-speed rotating glutinous rice wheel of Katakuri stretched out two branches, turning into two Gatling looks, combined with armed colors, continuously shooting at Lucas. As Lucas ran, he slashed several waves at Katakuri. Using the amplification ability, each chopping wave instantly splits into 44 huge chopping waves. Boom boom boom. The chopping wave kept rushing towards Katakuri, and Katakuri quickly dodged. The two directly dumped Monet and others and rushed all the way to the edge of the island. The outer part of Dressrosa is surrounded by a circle of huge rocks, and beyond, is the shore of the docked ship. However, the marine warship did not dock on this side. Katakuri returned to its original shape, brandishing a trident and stabbing directly at Lucas. Lucas leaned against the boulder and quickly dodged his body, avoiding the trident. Before he could fight back, the boulder behind him directly turned into a huge glutinous rice dumpling, which directly glued Lucas to the package. The Katakuri trident covered the armed color and stabbed Lucas directly. Kang! What a strong armed color! Katakuri looked at Lucas's abdominal muscles in surprise, which was covered with a layer of armed color, and his trident couldn't break the defense at all. Lucas started the armed increase as early as when Katakuri trapped him. Although his armed color is far from strong enough, but with an increase of 44 times, the intensity of the armed color has risen to a level of terror. This is the reason why Katakuri was surrounded by a wall of glutinous rice combined with armed colors a few times before. Under normal conditions, his armed color can't be compared with Katakuri. Lucas broke free from the glutinous rice dumplings and slashed towards Katakuri. Katakuri retreats quickly and must retreat, otherwise his armed color will be broken, and the trident will be easily interrupted by the opponent. Lucas only discovered at this time that Katakuri had transformed the nearby boulders into glutinous rice balls, surrounding them two by one layer after another. Advertisement. Quote. After quickly disarming the increase in color, Lucas gasped. He never expected that. He just wanted to save Strawberry and left, and it developed into the current situation. Lucas had no choice but to fight Katakuri. All the basic abilities in the state of self-increasing are stronger than Katakuri, as long as the opponent can defeat the opponent before the physical strength is exhausted. Lucas disappeared in an instant, swinging a long knife, and using the weapon color increase again. Katakuri predicted Lucas's route in advance, and went straight backwards and continued to retreat. At the same time, dozens of huge fists were separated from the huge glutinous rice wall surrounding the two, and the fists were combined with armed colors. Lucas bombarded indiscriminately. Lucas was completely surrounded, constantly swinging a long knife to block. He received a punch in his stomach, and quickly covered his body and blocked his fist. With a pair of fists, Lucas was unable to move forward under so many sieges and could only defend passively. Lucas's long knife had just broken a glutinous rice fist, and then a new glutinous rice fist emerged. He is not Kizaru, he does not have the speed of light, and facing the constant bombardment of huge fists, Lucas' road is blocked and it is difficult to hide. Quote. Lucas kept cutting glutinous rice fists one by one. There were too many fists overwhelmed, and he would get a few punches from time to time. Fortunately, he was armed with an increase in color and could not hurt him temporarily. Lucas is now wondering, when he watched the animation in his previous life, Luffy clocked in 2, how much water did he put in the second? Now face yourself, this fighting power. There is no moisture at all. The strength that Katakuri showed right now was not at the same level when he was completely against Luffy. The huge rocks around the assimilation turned into layers of glutinous rice balls to prevent him from escaping. He also made so many glutinous rice fists, all overwhelmingly dense, without giving him any way out. Card 2. I really don't bring any moisture at all. A large number of glutinous rice fists continued to bombard. With this powerful force, Lucas was able to sustain it under the power of augmentation, otherwise he had to be beaten to the ground. Fight. Lucas had no choice but to use all his strength, and Katakuri on the opposite side was satisfied. Attach a volume increase to the long knife. A big knife of tens of meters appeared directly in Lucas's hand, relying on 44 times the strength. The knife was instantly rounded, and all the glutinous rice fists and the glutinous rice wall of Katakuri were directly cut off one by one. What kind of ability is this? Katakuri looked at Lucas in surprise, then retreated violently. Advertisement. Boom. Lucas directly rounded the knife and chopped the ground into a long and deep gully. Katakuri retreated a long time ago and looked at Lucas in surprise. He did use his full strength, wanting to try the opponent's true strength. He didn't expect such a pervert, he liked it. Katakuri likes such a strong opponent. Lucas's knife returned to its original size, bending over and panting. Sure enough, Katakuri had already foreseen his offensive. The physical strength has been exhausted very seriously, and if you fight again, Katakuri will have abused him. Run. Lucas removed all unnecessary gains and only used the gains to rush to the distance in an instant. Katakuri finally met such a good opponent, he couldn't bear to run away. Katakuri once again conjured dozens of glutinous rice fists, one by one combined with armed colors, rushing towards Lucas densely. My special. No matter how fast Lucas ran, there was no way he was blocked by so many fists. Katakuri, what are your intentions when you come to Dressrosa? Lucas forcibly changed the subject, seeing his fist stop, and finally able to catch his breath. Look at whether there are any special delicacies here. It's a pity that it's too poor and I haven't seen anything worth noting. Katakuri sighed. All nations have Charlotte Linlin. In fact, Katakuri can also come out and go around. He watched the arena, but unfortunately, he didn't see any of them. After all, he was much better than those guys. The fairies are not interesting either, they are just little humans. The passionate beauties dancing on the street are not interesting either. Katakuri simply came out and made a round, he had no idea about Dressrosa. Strawberry insisted on hitting him. After listening to Katakuri's explanation, Lucas looked very ugly. Strawberry, you cheated me. His physical exertion is severe now, and Katakuri can always foresee his next attack. It can be said that he has increased his armament and color and can't hit Katakuri, which is useless. After his stamina is exhausted, he who has not increased, will only be beaten by Katakuri. Chapter 88-87. Rear Admiral is dead. Look for a monthly pass. Please recommend. Please give a reward. Advertisement. Katakuri was also panting, but, in comparison, Lucas consumed more energy and faster. And Lucas's physical strength is not as good as Katakuri. But what Katakuri saw was Lucas who could play well with him, and didn't know the real situation of the opponent. Katakuri suddenly looked at Lucas strangely, and as he predicted, Lucas ran away. It's weird, why should such a strong person run a good fight? Katakuri waved his trident and pierced directly at Lucas, trying to stop him. Lucas once again used the power, speed, weapon color increase, and the long knife to increase the volume. Dozens of meters of large knife covered the armed color sweep, directly beheaded all the glutinous rice fists of Katakuri, forcing Kata back. Hu Li. The increase was cancelled, leaving only a speed increase, and he rushed out directly on the moonwalk. Lucas has seen the two warships appearing on the sea, and he finally got rid of Katakuri. Stepping on the moonwalk, he instantly came to the surface of the sea. Below the surface of the sea, a suffocating monster rushed up. The mouth that was bigger than the island directly swallowed Lucas, and then the monster rushed directly into the sea and disappeared. How can it be repaired? Katakuri stared at the sea angrily, and finally was able to meet an opponent who could play with himself. But this opponent was swallowed by a creature that looked like sea kings. They are all demon fruit power. Sea kings dived into the water. Even if that person could break Sea King's body, he would be drowned. Katakuri remembered the Sea Kings in his heart. If he sees this guy one day, he must kill it. Take revenge for the rivals who can beat him. He was the second card but respected his opponent very much, and he didn't even think about why the opponent would come to the sea on moonwalk. At this moment, on the distant warship, Staloberry, who had just woken up, saw this desperate scene and knelt directly on the deck, his body trembling constantly. Yes, I'm sorry, I killed you. Staloberry slapped himself angrily, and blamed himself for not doing his best to provoke Charlotte Katakuri. Blame yourself. Originally, the rising star in this marine was buried in New World because of his recklessness. Staloberry blamed himself very much. He had already thought about it. When he went back this time, he pleaded guilty to Sakazuki. It would be okay to kill or pluck him, and he was willing to accept it. Even if the angry Sakazuki burned him alive with magma, he was willing to accept it. Is that right? I'm sorry. Staloberry kept knocking the deck with his head reproachfully. Lucas. Monet sat directly on the deck in despair, staring at the sea blankly. Advertisement. I think of Lucas saving their sisters for the first time, think of the other party teaching him hockey knowledge, think of the life he experienced together. Monet's mind was blank, his reason was already behind him, and he was about to jump into the sea to chase the Sea Kings. Quote. A Jin looked at Monet rushing to the sea with a headache, collapsed to the point of losing his mind. Ah Jin stopped Monet directly, and kept yelling loudly to calm Monet down. Quote. Buggy looked at the sea blankly, and it was all over in his heart. Lucas, the one who promoted him, was eaten by Sea Kings, so wouldn't he lose his biggest umbrella in the future? Buggy has been looking at herself after discovering Ah Jin, and hastily put it away. Should you leave Marine or stay at Marine to help Lucas take care of Monet and Akin? No, Lucas's adoptive father is Sakazuki, and he also has an umbrella. It was dark all around, and the air was smelly. Lucas walked on the moonwalk and stayed in the mouth of this Sea Kings. Die. Just kidding. How could he die? Now with the help of Sea King's brother, he has successfully escaped from Katakuri's entanglement. He is happy that it is too late, alright. Only, in his perception, this big man kept sinking, already far away from the sea, and he would not be able to go back for a while. Lucas clutched his nose, stuffing a strange smell, recalling the scene when he was swallowed. The size of this huge monster is initially judged to be larger than the island. It is true to say that it is Sea King's, with a sharp mouth full of yami, and the most important thing is the huge glowing lantern organ hanging in front of its head. So familiar, and there are few animals in the animation that he can remember. Correct. Lucas finally remembered that, as a loyal Jaime, he had watched the movie without missing anything. Isn't this the behemoth in the theatrical version of Golden Heart? Oro, who was survived by the Alchemy civilization, is called the Lantern Lord. Lord Lantern is bigger than the island. 100 years ago, it swallowed a large part of the island where the Alchemy civilization was located, which directly led to the disappearance of the Alchemy civilization in the long river of history. And on the island where most of it was swallowed, there was a very buggy metal-like pure gold hidden. Advertisement. In the animation, Luffy and others also went in to find pure gold. Pure gold, theatrical version of the metal, we can know from the plot that the ring worn by Oroja has this kind of pure gold, and Oroja also has the disease directly infinitely delayed because of the pure gold, and he has never seen an illness in 100 years. Having lived for hundreds of years, Oroja hasn't grown at all. Pure gold is another thing that allows people to achieve longevity. It can be said that this is another backstab of the original theatrical version of Oda One Piece story system. But for the Traversers, this is another benefit of originality for the Traversers. Lucas recalled the appearance of this monster, exactly the same as in the animation. Since he couldn't get back to the shore yet, he could only go deep into the enemy's body, explore the ancient ruins, rescue the little loli trapped in the dark place, and deduct a little pure gold by the way. What? It's dangerous here. Just kidding, he is super brave Lucas. Stepping on the moonwalk, Lucas turned on his sights, and walked toward Master Lantern's stomach. At the same time, he took out the phone bug and prepared to contact Monet, Akin and others. Quote. Could not be reached. How deep has this monster dived? Seeing, hearing and perceiving the situation inside the behemoth's body, Lucas went to the first stomach. There are 3 stomachs in Master Lantern's body, and each stomach has an island. The third stomach is where the pure gold is located. After walking in the body of Lord Lantern for a long time, there was finally light in front of Lucas's eyes, and in the distance, there was an island with several dinosaurs on the shore of the island. What a magical place. At the same time, above the sea. Katakuri had been sitting on the shore, looking at the sea. There was really no choice but to leave Dressrosa. Two warships in the distance. Monet glared at Stallo Berry angrily. She clenched her fists tightly, wishing to kill the B********** D directly and make a specimen of the snowman for Lucas to bury. Akin quickly stopped Monet, for fear of a fight in the next moment. Buggy stood beside the cannon, staring at Stallo Berry. The situation is a bit tense. Chapter 89-88. Lucas. Are you scolding again? Look for a monthly pass. Please recommend. Please give a reward. Advertisement. The first half of the Grand Line, Marineford. At Sakazuki's house, Sakazuki watched the exercises of a few little ghosts, and the expression on his face was more than satisfied. Hey, after so long, how many times has he kicked Luffy, so cool. Bah, really responsible. Sakazuki. Pelusolino walked in and looked at Sakazuki. What's the matter? Sakazuki looked at Pelusolino in confusion. What? Sakazuki listened to Pelusolino in shock, and what happened in New World had now spread to Marineford. I have ordered them back, Sakazuki, sorry. Pelusolino told Sakazuki of Lucas's death. Sometimes Pelusolino also pays attention to Lucas's growth occasionally, watching this kid from North Blue grow little by little until now Rear Admiral. Although Lucas was thinking of, you are an ape, in fact their relationship is still very good. Sakazuki took a deep breath. As an iron-blooded soldier, Lucas, this kid, was the first time he tried to show himself a gentle side. He hopes to teach Lucas to be the top combat power of Marine in the future. Sometimes Sakazuki looked at the orders of the world government, although they were resolutely implemented, but deep down in his heart, he still kept questioning, but he didn't let others see it. Many years ago, he knew the strength of the Momo fruit pervert, and seeing the fruit of Lucas's more pervert, he hoped to cultivate the opponent to have the strength to change Marine. Sakazuki continued to take a deep breath, and then once again revealed what an iron-blooded soldier should look like. I can only blame him for his poor strength, so be it, Pelusolino, you take the children to you. Training there, I want to be quiet. Pelusolino took the children away and silently closed the door, leaving Sakazuki sitting in the courtyard by himself. Sakazuki sat on the ground with his left arm in a plaster cast, clutching his head with the other hand, gritting his teeth and shaking his body. The adopted son is dead. Advertisement. Sakazuki felt uncomfortable in his heart, and he finally tasted the painful feeling. Outside the door, Pelusolino listened to a faint choking sound, sighed, and walked away. It seems that after Sengoku's adopted son disappeared during the North Blue roundup of the Don Quixote family, Sengoku did not lose his mind. Who knows, old men like to get into a corner alone to shed tears. By the way, Marine's definition of Rocinante as Marine is missing. Not a defect. After all, everyone is a background person, and it is easy to change to a missing person. At this time, somewhere under the sea in New World, in the body of Lord Lantern, Lucas was still unconsciously looking for a 100-year-old lily and treasure. Marveling at the magic of the world in Master Lantern's stomach, he didn't know how many people he would face after returning to Marineford. In Logue Town, the office is filled with smoke, and smokers' addiction to cigarettes is even greater at this time. The little Tashigi walked into the room, coughing constantly with the smell of smoke, and hurriedly covered his mouth and nose to the window, opened the window to let out the smell of smoke. How many times have I told you, smoke less and smoke less, how can you smoke more today? It's not good for you. The little Tashigi looked at Smoker with hands on his hips. Smoker didn't respond to each other at all, with a dozen exaggerated cigarettes in his mouth, staring at the marine cloak hanging on one side in a daze. He received a piece of news just now, it was like a bolt from the blue, and he was happy to say that he was Rear Admiral's little brother before, but now he is gone. Although they are all thorns, although the younger brother is not as handsome as him, although the younger brother is not as strong as him, although the younger brother often cheated girls on snacks and pocket money when he was young. Although the little brother has so many shortcomings, it is his little brother anyway. If it can, Smoker hopes that this is just a big prank by Lucas, even if he is asked to beat the younger brother, he does not want him to die. At this time, when he came to the stomach island of Lord Lantern No. 1, Lucas, who was roasting dinosaur meat, was faintly cold behind him. Grand Line, somewhere in the sea, a warship and a pirate ship were leaning together. Hina kicked a pirate down, using the fruit ability to directly trap him. Advertisement. At this time, one of her subordinates brought a piece of news. New World, the number 1 stomach of Lord Lantern, on the island. There was a fire in front of Lucas. The dinosaur just now had already been transformed into a skeleton, and he had eaten all the meat. Lucas was lying on the beach, rubbing his stomach comfortably. You can eat dinosaur meat without going to Little Garden. It's really not a poke. In the distance, the dinosaurs hiding in the forest showed their heads in fear, looking at this terrifying human being. When the other party went to the island, they rushed up, thinking it was food delivered to the door. As a result, when he met, the human didn't even drew a knife, and directly knocked over a dinosaur. In such a scene that scared the dragon, these dinosaurs ran away in horror and went into hiding. After a high-intensity battle with Katakuri, Lucas came here on the moonwalk before. His physical exhaustion was extremely serious. After eating dinosaur meat, he took a rest and finally recovered a lot of physical strength. I won't be able to leave here for a while. First look for someone on this island to save the century-old Loli, and the scientist who invented pure gold in super cowhide. Seeing, smelling and perceiving the entire island, Lucas moved towards his new discovery. Through the forest, Lucas came all the way to the distance of a big tree. At this time, under the big tree, a large lizard kept roaring at the top of the tree. Lucas looked up and was amused. At this moment, above the big tree, a girl was holding an egg in her hand and making faces at the lizard below. Hey, this egg is my dinner. Regarding the plot of The Heart of Gold, there are more original bugs than Oda's comics. The plot shows that Lord Lantern has 3 stomachs, and each stomach contains an island that has been swallowed. The first seat is an unknown island. The second island is the same. The third island, the innermost one, is the island that carries the alchemy civilization. Then the problem comes. When Luffy took Oroja back to the world of Lord Lantern's stomach, the first stop on the first island, Luffy asked Oroja to eat dinosaur meat. Oroja said that he finally ate them. It can be seen that Oroja has been trapped on the first island, and Luffy was on the first island later. The dinosaur nest found Oroja's father. The father and daughter were swallowed in Alchemy's island. Later, they said that every time they go to the next island, the stomach acid strength is more terrible. Then, the two just rely on after living with pure gold for 100 years, how did the two people who don't have 6 types, physical skills, and devil fruit come here? Gone. The original is more than a backstab Oda, backstab together with the author. Oroja and her father are on the first island. There is no way of coming here for 100 years. Chapter 9089. Such a big. Do you want a piece of pure gold? Recommendation. Monthly ticket. Reward. Advertisement. The yellow-haired girl sitting on the tree hugged the egg and looked at the people under the tree in surprise. Wearing a marine hat, a suit, and a white cloak. There is someone here. Oroja looked at the people below in surprise and rubbed his eyes. It was really not a dream. Oroja directly took out a few stones from Kabuto and threw them at the big lizard below, but the big lizard still didn't go, staring at the egg she was holding. This is my dinner. You don't want to take it back. Oroja angrily threw a stone at the big lizard. Hey, handsome brother over there, can I trouble you to help people drive it away? It's too scary. Quote. Lucas looked at the girl speechlessly. She should be Oroja. It's just that this guy has lived for hundreds of years. Is it really good to call his brother that way? Lucas nodded and walked over, looking at the large lizard in front of him. Look at some lizards like basilisk. This lizard can run on the water. It's just that the size and other details are different from the basilisk lizard. This is beyond the scope of his knowledge. Let's define it as a creature of One Piece world 100 years ago. The lizard did not pay attention to the coming Lucas, and kept yelling at the tree. Lucas touched the lizard's head and looked up at Oroja. You robbed its child, of course it won't go. Do you help others? I am willing to divide my meal for you in half. Oroja looked at him pitifully. I just ate. Lucas smiled at each other. Then if I say, I can give you a pure gold, would you like to help me? Oroja looked at Lucas with a smirk. I thought this guy was a poor worm who couldn't get out anyway, and there was nothing to say to the other party. I'm a righteous marine, no. Lucas shook his head and said. Oroja looked at him in disbelief, gestured with both hands. Do you want such a big one? It's bigger than this egg. Deal. Lucas nodded, slapped the big lizard flying. The big lizard yelled at him, turned his head and ran away. You're so amazing. Oroja held the egg and slowly came down. Normally, Lucas shrugged. He thinks he is already very weak, and there are too many really strong people. I was not in a hurry to ask the girl for pure gold. After all, such a big one, I can't get it now. On the beach, Orojiagong was going to make an egg for dinner, and then her dinner was gone. Advertisement. Click. The eggshell cracked, and the head of a young lizard came out, and the young lizard saw Oroja at first sight. The baby lizard made a kind voice and kept rubbing his head against Oroja, treating her as a mother. It treats you as a mother. Do you still eat it? Lucas patted Oroja's head and laughed. Eat. Oroja nodded. I'm very hungry, isn't it obvious? The baby lizard looked at Oroja pitifully, making a sad voice. Quote. Oroja squeezed out a tic-tac-toe. You will be very hungry if I don't eat it. Lucas took the baby lizard from Oroja, and the baby lizard looked at him affectionately. Dad. Quote. Looking at the baby lizard graciously rubbing against him, Lucas felt that there was a major misunderstanding. But in this world, there are a large number of animals that are very human, and they can understand some of the things people say. Return the baby lizard directly to Oroja, looking at Oroja who continues to trouble his brain. Eat grilled or cooked. Which one is better? Oroja turned to look at Lucas curiously. It's good to roast, and the soup tastes good when it's cooked. Lucas thought seriously. It would be great if Sanji was there, just eat all kinds of delicacies. Miss the first day of Chef Sanji. The young lizard had already been frightened and struggling by these two demons. No matter how hard it struggles, it's useless. I will call you Elizabeth from now on, but I can't figure out how to eat you for the time being. Oroja sighed. No way, don't hate to eat it. The little guy rubbed Oroja's face affectionately. Don't bother me, I'm starving to death. Oroja put it on the beach, hugging his belly with a bitter face. Hey, Oroja turned to look, where was that person just now? In the forest, Lucas walked in the direction he felt and came to a dinosaur den not far away. A dinosaur stared at him, opening his mouth and biting. Snapped. Lucas raised his hand to grab the opponent's head directly, and then punched the head of the dinosaur. Boom. Advertisement. With a punch, the body of the dinosaur was directly knocked down, the ground was full of blood, and the dinosaur died. In the distance, a group of small dinosaurs in the dinosaur den kept retreating to the corner, looking at Lucas in fear, but one dinosaur that looked different and slightly rough did not retreat. Please Oroja to eat a dinosaur meal. Lucas smiled at these baby dinosaurs, and rushed out, constantly moving between these baby dinosaurs, punching one head to death. Human. A dinosaur said human words and looked at Lucas in surprise. Aren't you? That asked. Lucas looked at him speechlessly. The dinosaur's head opened, revealing the fat head inside. It turned out that this was an uncle who got into the dinosaur coat and pretended to be a nest of little dinosaurs. Hello, are you also swallowed by Master Lantern? The uncle asked curiously. That's right. Lucas looked at the uncle, a rough dinosaur coat that could fool the dinosaur. So, in Oda-Sai's story, dinosaurs are also blind. You are amazing, can I have some of these? The uncle asked, pointing at these baby dinosaurs. Come with me and eat together. Good. The two went to the beach together. This uncle is Orojia's father, who was also 100 years ago. And pure gold was invented by the uncle. Along the way, the uncle kept telling Lucas how they got in, and at the same time asked how Lucas got in. When the two walked out of the forest, the uncle saw the girl sitting on the beach, his eyes straightened. He finally saw the baby girl again. Oro-ka, trapped in the dinosaur's den, the uncle, who has not dared to come out for a long time, has not seen his daughter for a while. Humph. Oroja snorted coldly, not going to see the B************ D father. If it weren't for him to make something like pure gold, his mother would not die. Lucas smiled helplessly at the two of them. So, how did they meet on the same island as if they hadn't seen each other for hundreds of years? The originality of the animation group Dog Stuff, the bug is really not ordinary. 10 minutes later, in front of the fire, Lucas flipped the barbecue and looked at the father and daughter who continued the Cold War. Chapter 9190. The Most Strict Mouth. 100 Years of Lowly, a monthly pass. A reward. A recommendation. Advertisement. Oroja has South Blue Emperor fever, right? Lucas took the initiative to expose what Orojia's father had been reluctant to say. How do you know? The uncle looked at Lucas in shock. Oroja looked at his father. Did he keep things from himself? I have read the record of this disease in the book. Lucas lied without blushing or breathing. He knows a hammer medicine, he just knows the plot. This disease was an incurable disease 100 years ago, but in today's world, just a shot can be cured. Lucas said. Just one shot. The uncle looked at Lucas in surprise and grabbed his arm. Really? Really? Lucas nodded. Quote. The father and daughter looked at each other, and the century-old misunderstanding was solved. Lucas took 2 dinosaur thighs and walked away to eat his own, not to disturb the sensational scenes of the father and daughter. The baby lizard ran up to him slowly and rubbed his head. Lucas's mouth is bulging. Is this little guy hungry? Tear off a small piece and put it directly into the little lizard's mouth. Don't look at me, you are very greedy. Lucas glared at the baby lizard. The baby lizard ate up the meat, rubbed Lucas's leg again, raised his head and screamed twice. Quote. Lucas was stuffed with meat in his mouth, and ran away with his own meat. The baby lizard came after him again, rubbed him affectionately, and opened his mouth to wait for the meat to be fed. Greedy. Lucas tore another small piece and put it in its mouth. When the baby lizard raised his head again, there were only 2 bones left in Lucas's hand. Quote. After eating up the meat, Lucas returned to the fire, took a large piece of meat from the shelf and placed it in front of the baby lizard. Eat quickly, eat more, and I will be able to taste your taste soon when I grow up. The baby lizard gnawed at the meat and looked at him puzzled. Are you a demon? It's so cute, why eat it? Oroja had reconciled with his father, touching the head of the baby lizard and staring at Lucas. Quote. Lucas looked at this 100-year-old lowly dumbfounded. Who said it was dinner? How do we get out? The uncle looked at Lucas and asked puzzledly. Since in the current era, a single shot can be cured, how can they go out and treat Oroja? It's too easy. Lucas said with a smile. Great, how to get out? The uncle looked at him excitedly. Very simple. Quote. Riddler 4000 plus hello. Advertisement. The uncle looked at Lucas with a puzzled look. So, how on earth do you want to get out? I understand. The clever Oroja understood Lucas's meaning in an instant. Quote. Uncle looked blank. So what do you know? As a genius scientist 100 years ago, the uncle did not understand what these 2 riddlers were talking about. The one I said you want. Yes. The 2 looked at each other and nodded. Quote. Uncle hurriedly stood in front of his daughter. Something was wrong with you. He wants pure gold. Hearing what the daughter said, the uncle glared at her angrily. You said it earlier, he had misunderstood it. Pure gold, it's so easy to say, it scared me. The uncle sat aside. As an old father, his heart beat faster just now and almost scared him of a heart attack. Quote. Lucas and Oroja looked at the uncle speechlessly. What are you thinking? The old man is a lot of age thinking about bad things. Lucas looked at the uncle with a smirk. Huh. Oroja glanced at his father disgustingly, looking wretched. Uncle looked at them with an innocent look. It's you guys who are not serious. This is Al-Kami's text. Lucas said, looking at the text on Oroja's clothes. Although he doesn't know the meaning of this word, he knows where the plot lies. What he didn't expect was that as soon as he said something, Oroja himself said that they were from hundreds of years ago. The degree of air leakage from this mouth is comparable to that of Zondao Maru. He just tried it casually. After I went out, I changed my clothes. Don't have anything symbolized by alchemy. Although pure gold has long disappeared in history, there are still a small number of people who know the existence of pure gold, and they covet pure gold. Also, don't talk nonsense when you go out, you must manage your own mouth, otherwise you will face the disaster of extinction. From those in power, Lucas reminded him and shocked the father and daughter. Indeed, don't talk nonsense when you go out, Oroja said to his father. Snapped. Lucas slapped Oroja on the head. It's you who said it, I just tried it out, and you said it. Huh, really? Oroja laughed. Quote. If Lucas is right, the reason why Oroja Yuan's plot was caught by CP members of the world government is because of her own leaks. After all, in the original plot, Oroja came to the Straw Hat Troop, and when asked, he said, I won't tell you, before, and then he took possession of Momomaru and said it all. Fighting Dao Maru number 2. Advertisement. You have to be optimistic about her. If necessary, you can block her mouth. Lucas glanced at the uncle. It's not that he is too fierce, but that the uncle and Oroja have little force. If they leak, not only will they be destroyed, Lucas will also be in great trouble. He remembered the original plot. Sakazuki, who was dissatisfied with the world government's practices, went to 5 elders to protest, but was directly scolded. What kind of thing are you? Sakazuki was the marshal at that time. Lucas's current background, it is estimated that he will not be able to keep him. But he is a decent figure, and he obviously can't do it. Understood. The uncle nodded, and then looked at his daughter nervously. In the future, as long as the daughter dares to say more, he will block her mouth with shoes. Huh, well, we're full, shall we go get pure gold? Lucas looked at the uncle and Oroja. The outside of the island is full of stomach acid, how do we get there? The uncle looked at Lucas puzzled. Simple. Lucas wiped his hands and stood up. Quote. Here comes again, Riddler. The uncle looked at him inexplicably, could he just swim over? Master Lantern has a strong stomach acid and can directly dissolve wood without leaving anything. Half of them will be dissolved before they swim. Ready. Lucas stood between the two. Ready. Oroja looked at him excitedly, and was about to know how to get there. What are you going to prepare? The uncle was puzzled. Lucas hugged Oroja with his right hand, and the uncle with his left hand, and stepped on the moonwalk and rushed directly. It's flying, so amazing. Oroja looked at Lucas in surprise. Fly. Lucas laughed. On Lucas's shoulder, the young lizard's claws were holding his collar in fear. Uncle, you are so heavy, it's time to lose weight. Lucas said, looking at the uncle's fat body. Ying, I didn't expect the recommendation from this site to be a non-poke recommendation. Today I stay up for a while, and tomorrow I will try to come to 3 shifts. I still hope that my dads will vote for more recommendations, monthly tickets, and give some follow-up readings. Follow-up reading is really important to me, ying. If this site recommends promotion this time, I will directly add 3 more. Use your tickets and follow up to ravage me fiercely. Hearing something, I felt helpless. Several of my friends and I were both authors of Pirate Doujin. They were both newcomers. A friend started writing last year and said to me, hey, there were people when I first wrote. Scold me, there have been various scoldings since last year, you have to be careful. Then in April of this year, I started to write about Pirate Doujin, and learned the lessons of my friends. I tried my best to avoid the poison of my friends, and then I was also scolded, really, dumbfounding, and then I turned into a repeater and repeated it with another friend. Another friend opened a book these few days, but he didn't sign a contract. Some people scolded him. He said that his book was opened and the success rate reached 100%. Ask why you are so weak to awaken the armed color. Question mark. If it is not weak, who will open the hook? If it is weak, the success rate of opening the hook is 100%, and the probability is invisible. After listening to my friend's complaints, I understand. No matter what the squirt is, he just catches a curse. Then we have no choice but to do what we should do. The rest of the people who squirt purely for the purpose of squirting. I'm sorry, we didn't wholeheartedly take care of you in the Emperor's way for love power generation. Chapter 92-91. No, Sanji's big bone soup is not good. Advertisement. I can't help it, the uncle said helplessly. Tenten pretended to be a baby dinosaur, and Tenten squatted in the den to eat meat. Accelerated, Lucas said, using 15 times the speed directly. The speed of the whole person is getting faster and faster, and he rushes out directly and quickly. It's exciting, Oroja yelled excitedly, feeling the gust of wind from the high-speed dash in the air. I'm dizzy. The uncle felt his head dizzy. Ha. Lucas smiled and quickly rushed to Master Lantern's second stomach. He only reduced his speed to take care of these 2 ordinary people, otherwise he would directly perform the pirate version of the Yellow Flash. He has blue hair, he should be blue glitter. Following Oroja's directions, Lucas went all the way through the second stomach, rushed directly to the third stomach, and saw the island in the distance. The light emitted by Lantern Master's lantern can penetrate into the stomach, but compared to the first 2 stomach worlds where the light is brighter, the light in the third stomach world is a bit worse. The light was slightly dim, and at first glance it looked like a starry sky in the middle of the night. Lucas landed on the island and put the uncle and Oroja down. Do it again. It's exciting. Oroja grabbed Lucas's trouser legs and shouted excitedly. Quote. Lucas looked at this 100-year-old loli with a headache, and came again. The heart is big enough. Didn't you see that the uncle ran to the side and threw up? Uncle okay. Lucas walked over. No. Ooh. Quote. Lucas looked at Oroja and motioned, are you still coming? Will you go out like this when you go out? It's exciting. Oroja looked at him excitedly. Lucas is silent, is this guy really okay? When the uncle was better, they then walked towards the place where the uncle was hiding the pure gold. The uncle hid the pure gold in a place full of institutions. The mechanism was designed by the uncle, so the whole way was unimpeded, and the uncle turned off the archery mechanism before entering. Help them resolve their misunderstandings, and help him treat his daughter after going out. The uncle voluntarily gave the pure gold to Lucas. The first level of performance music can only be entered when the correct song is played with the peacock piano. Although the score is missing, the uncle directly finished playing it all over again. A passage to the next level appeared in front of them. Advertisement. A few people came all the way to a cliff, and there was a cliff on the opposite side. The uncle directly found the mechanism he was hiding, and with a light press, a road leading to the other side stretched over. Awesome. Lucas laughed, which is like opening a cheat code to clear the game all the way. There is a triceratops on the opposite side, said the uncle. I'll deal with it. Lucas walked in front, his white cloak swelling with the wind. The triceratops let out a muffled roar and stabbed Lucas with its horns. Lucas' fist covered in armed color, watching the triceratops running towards him. What? With a punch, it directly penetrated the hardest defense on the triceratops' head, following Lucas withdrawing his hand. Boom. The triceratops fell down. So strong. Oroja looked at Lucas admiringly. If she or her father had such a strong strength at the beginning, there would not have been the tragedy like that at the beginning, and the mother would not die. Go. I'll go back to eat dinosaur meat later. Lucas kicked the triceratops aside. Don't get in the way. Bone all over, Oroja said disgustedly. There is still a lot of meat, the uncle said. Then big bone soup. Clear thinking. Going to the next level, there is a key on a stone pillar platform in front. The uncle directly picked up the key. At the front, there was a crocodile mechanism with a big mouth. Inside was a door. There were many fake keyholes and a real keyhole on the door. If you insert it incorrectly, you will suffer a penalty electric shock, and the uncle will directly insert it into the right keyhole. Rumble. A passage leading to the bottom appeared, and the uncle took Lucas down. After walking for a while, a few people saw an underground room. There are various minerals and some research materials of the uncle. In front of the uncle, there was a container with a large pure gold in it. It's a bit too much. Lucas shook his head. This is too much. He doesn't need so much, he has to be found out if he goes out. I have a way you can wait a minute. The uncle said, and went to find a tool, and then he was about to break the container. Quote. Lucas was frightened to stop the uncle. He remembered that in the original work, the villain pirate finally got pure gold and exposed the pure gold to the air. The dazzling light of pure gold shining on the stomach wall directly caused a violent reaction from Lord Lantern. Advertisement. Don't worry, I have studied that this kind of rays cannot penetrate most of the material, and there are rocks around this. The uncle explained with a smile. Although pure gold can bring the body to stop growing, in exchange for an alternative longevity. The effect of the rays is indeed terrifying, but it is far from enough to penetrate such a thick island. The uncle broke the container directly, took out the pure gold, took out professional tools, and divided a fist-sized pure gold. Can you? The uncle handed the fist-big pure gold to Lucas. Oroja has a small piece of pure gold in her ring. Cutting pure gold is easy for the uncle. Can you cut a few more small ones? Lucas gestured, indicating that it was smaller than a ring. Good. The uncle continued cutting. After a while, the uncle handed several small pieces of pure gold to Lucas, and at the same time the big piece of pure gold was also given to Lucas. Wrap it in a cloth, as long as you don't let the light go out, it's okay. The uncle said directly. Understood. Lucas said, wrapping it all up. With those small grains of pure gold, he was going to make a ring or necklace and set it in. People are selfish, including him. Although sometimes his ideals are very high, he can't help but face the temptation of longevity. Go out here with Oroja and the uncle, and the remaining pure gold will be buried here. Too much is easy to expose. And Lucas understands that people's hearts are the most unpredictable. It is impossible for him to share all the pure gold with everyone, and one more person will expose you to more risks. Not everyone is trustworthy. When passing by, Lucas dragged the triceratops away, just like the foodie, even the triceratops was not let go. The three came out, ready to rest here for a while. How to get out? The uncle asked curiously. Of course it was flying out. Oroja said happily. By the way, is there a pot to make big bone soup? Lucas looked at the two. Quote. You are not right. The pot has rusted for hundreds of years. The uncle looked helplessly at this guy, he really wanted to eat bone soup. This is too much food. Hey, forget it, it's not authentic without Sanji's big bone soup. Lucas suddenly remembered that his craft is very dark cooking. Chapter 93-92. Let go of people, big bad guy. Seeking collection. Seeking monthly pass. Seeking recommendation. Advertisement. After a short break, Lucas held the uncle in one hand and Oroja in the other. Step on the moonwalk and return directly as you came. In fact, for him, the way to get out is very simple. Go back the same way and return to Master Lantern's mouth, and then just slash the opponent's mouth open. Hurry up. Lucas, you are great. Oroja was embraced by Lucas, shouting loudly. Lucas looked at the father and daughter helplessly, one was scared to death, the other liked to find excitement. All the way to Master Lantern's mouth, Lucas looked at Oroja. You grab my neck, I'm ready to draw the knife. Lucas said. No, I like to hold it like this. Oroja chuckled. Quote question mark quote. 100 years of bold lowly, even greedy my body. Lucas was helpless, ignored the opponent, and directly used 44 times his strength, covering his feet with armed colors, and kicked Lord Lantern's teeth. The teeth that were bigger than humans were kicked out, and Lucas kicked one after another. On the sea, Master Lantern suddenly roared and opened his mouth quickly, and Lucas rushed out on moonwalk. When Oroja was arguing with her father 100 years ago, she wanted to throw away the ring with pure gold on the shore. The light of pure gold attracted the Lantern Master, and the Lantern Master swallowed them. In the original plot, Master Lantern was also because Luffy and the pirate group competed for Oroja, and the ring with pure gold flew into the sky, which attracted Master Lantern. Now they did not reveal pure gold at all, Master Lantern would not pay attention to them. Lucas looked at the vast sea, Master Lantern didn't know where it was floating, and he couldn't even see an island. The augmentation effect is cancelled, otherwise he will not find the island after a while, and everyone will have to run out of energy and fall. Holding Oroja's hand, Lucas looked at the permanent pointer on his wrist. That is the permanent pointer to Dressrosa, just go in this direction. Although he stops at common sense in navigation and does not understand any deeper knowledge, he has several permanent pointers. With the sea breeze blowing and holding the two of them, Lucas kept marching on the vast ocean. After being exposed to the sun for a while, the ghost weather of New World suddenly started to snow again. Lucas speeded up, and when he said it was really cold, it started to rain again. Gone. Hi, it's cold. Oroja held Lucas tightly. Brother Lucas, aren't you tired? Do you want to drown? Well, I can swim. Shut up. I'm only 18 years old, don't call my eldest brother. Quote. Raising his hand, Lucas glanced at the direction of the permanent pointer and quickly corrected the direction. In the strange situation of New World, he almost went in the wrong direction. After a while, the weather changed again and the sun exposure began again. Advertisement. So hot. Oroja, who was hugged by Lucas, twisted. Honestly, I don't care about falling, there is a sea king's underwater. Quote. Oroja was so frightened that he hugged him tightly, motionless. Below the three of them, a huge shadow passed quickly. You are so good, you can't even beat a sea king's. Isn't it because you can't swim? The 200-year-old woman shut up. You scold again. Oroja blushed and stared at Lucas angrily. Lucas ignored Oroja and looked at a strange island in the distance. Quicken the pace and come to the island, Lucas put down the uncle, and then put. You let go. Huh. Lucas was completely speechless about this guy, grabbed her by the collar, and directly dragged Oroja down and placed it on the ground. Let's take you to the doctor. I'm not sick. No, you are sick, both physically and mentally. You scold again. The uncle looked helplessly at the two quarreling. When he came to town, Lucas found a doctor. Fortunately, this doctor had medicine to treat the South Blue Emperor's fever. Oroja was given an injection, and her illness was completely cured. As the three of them were walking on the road, Lucas took out 2 stacks of Bailey from his clothes and gave them to the uncle. This is for your living expenses in the future, which is what I mean. I just asked, this is the Whitebeard chassis, you should not be embarrassed, but I still suggest it is best to consider leaving New World after a while. No matter it is now or in the future, New World is unstable. Lucas said. Are you leaving? Oroja held the baby lizard and looked up at the tall man. I'm going back to find my subordinates. I'm Marine. I can't stay long. Goodbye. Lucas rubbed Oroja's head and turned to leave. Indeed, as he said, although Whitebeard is very good to ordinary people under his influence, it cannot conceal the fact that New World is messy. Now there is a melee from all sides, and it will take many years to formally establish the Four Emperors pattern. And many years later, the devastated Zephyr will go the wrong way and choose to destroy the New World to destroy the world's strongest pirate. There are not many ordinary people in New World at all, and Zephyr is crazy. There are so many pirates rushing to the New World every year, and many years later, there will be ambitious Blackbeard who will kill their companions to seize Dark Fruit and plan a war. Advertisement. Although the top is not in New World, the series of reactions that follow directly sent the world into the era of Rampage. Lucas bought a boat and rowed it towards Dressrosa. A few days later, Dressrosa, the shore. Lucas sailed around here, without seeing a warship at all. Blue Brew. Mosimo C. I'm Lucas, come to Dressrosa to pick me up, I'm back. Ah, the phone worm imitated Monet and screamed in surprise. Lucas has a depressed face, isn't it? You are not dead. Monet shouted in surprise. I'm here. The phone worm was hung up by Monet, and Lucas looked at the phone worm inexplicably. What does it mean that he is not dead? Lucas did not understand Monet at all. Walking onto the island, before entering Dressrosa, his phone worm rang again. What's the matter? Lucas looked at the phone bug. It was Sakazuki. It's fine if you haven't died. Just come back quickly. I'll drink with you and never go anywhere. Sakazuki finished speaking and hung up. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Boy, do they think I'm dead? Just kidding. I'm lucky, Lucas, okay. After 2 steps, the phone worm rang again. Lucas saw Smoker. After that, I got in touch again. The phone bugs are almost blown up. Lucas walked into Dressrosa, reluctantly put away the phone bug, and found a restaurant where the food was just served. A little man rushed past quickly, and the plate on his table was gone. Your sister. Lucas didn't care about the fairy tale, and directly pulled up to 44 times the speed, intercepted the opponent in an instant, and dragged him back to his lunch. Go ahead, what do you want me to do with you? Let go of me, you badass. Chapter 94-93. Dressrosa Arena, seeking collection, seeking monthly pass, seeking recommendation. Advertisement. A small pointed nose, a compact body that cannot be more compact, small round blue eyes, and curly hair. This little human being in a pink dress was hung on the table by Lucas's 2 fingers holding the clothes, his small mouth pouted and his body was constantly struggling. You dare to catch this lady fights with you. The little human race kept waving his little hand, trying to squeeze Lucas's hand. Hey, it's all cocoons, let go of this lady. Just give it back to you. Lucas looked dumbfounded at each other's constant struggle, revealing that cute little tail. Are you hungry? Lucas looked at each other and teased each other. Fortunately, he was alone in this restaurant. Otherwise he must be sprayed by the locals. Well, do you want to return the meal to me? Thank you very much. Quote. After dozens of minutes, the plates beside Lucas were piled up, and the little human girl was still fighting fiercely with that plate of fried noodles. You eat a lot. The little girl with yellow curly hair stuffed a piece of noodles in her mouth, looking at Lucas in surprise. Lucas invited her to lunch. We have such a big difference in body size, and it is not normal for us to have a big difference in appetite. Lucas ate the rice in the disc and took the 2 plates of rice that the chef handed over. Oh, it's okay, dozens of times bigger than my appetite, you must be very strong. The boss said with a smile, especially Lucas's flat stomach, he was envious when he saw it. It's so normal. Lucas continued to suck the noodles. The boss has another grilled fish. Okay, dozens of times, you are sure that you are not a giant. The little human girl looked at him, laughing and crying. Ahem, what's your name? Lucas looked at the girl. Richier, how about you, big man? Rachel asked, raising her head. Lucas planned to rest in Dressrosa for 2 days, waiting for his subordinates to pick him up by the way. Mainly, he still wants to play here and take a look at the country he has saved. Whether a country is poor or not does not necessarily mean that its people are unhappy. Although this country has no villains as slaves, and the economy is much backward, the people here live at least happily than Doflamingo's rule. Without money, they are still working hard. This country is not big, and people get along with each other in harmony, and it is rare to see the hierarchical situation like the Goa Kingdom. Advertisement. Lucas took the grilled fish handed by the boss, took it in his hand, and walked out of the restaurant, ready to stroll around. What are you doing with me? Lucas looked down at the little bit who was following his feet. I think you are very generous, how about that? I will be your tour guide and you invite me to dinner. Rui Kie kept jumping around him. I heard that Dressrosa's arena is very famous, let's lead the way. After Lucas finished speaking, he squatted down and stretched out his hand to make Xiaodu come up. Go. For dinner. Richie climbed onto Lucas's shoulder. Following Richie's directions, Lucas came all the way to the arena. No, right, that's the audience channel. This is the competition channel. You're on the wrong path. Rui Kie couldn't help but smile. Who told you that I want to watch the game? I'm here, okay. Lucas smirked. He can't play around for a few days, how can he do it without playing a few games with itchy hands? No, just you. Rachel looked at Lucas in disbelief. This marine, if you can eat it this way, it's a rice bucket. Question me. Lucas came to the registration office with a little bit. Under the rule of the Liku clan, the arena is not a bloody match, but an end. This is much better than Doflamingo. Lucas signed up and walked into the waiting room for the game. These days are just daily games, but there are still a lot of players in the lounge. After waiting for a while, it was his turn. Lucas followed the staff to the duel platform. Richie had already gone to the spectator stand to watch his game. The speed of the villain was very fast, and at this time Dressrosa was very friendly to the villain, and she was not in any danger. On the contrary, it's more leisurely like being in your own back garden. Lucas came to the duel platform. Anyway, he had to wait a few days before he came to have fun. The audience is also very welcome to Marine's participation. Dong dong dong. A big man with a height of more than 8 meters walked in, full of muscles, carrying a heavy mace. Most of the giants in the world of One Piece are around 20 meters in height. A guy like this with only 8 meters in adulthood is not a giant. It can only be said that this is a normal situation in this world. Friend, you should give up, I'm afraid of knocking you down. The big guy looked down at Lucas and laughed. It's not too late to admit defeat if you can't beat it, Lucas said with a smile. Advertisement. Then you give up if you are afraid. The big man nodded and said. Quote. With the hosts, start, the big man moved, and the mace slammed directly at Lucas. Lucas backed away, and the place he was standing was directly blasted into a big pit. So strong. The big man grabbed his heavy mace with both hands, lifted it up and smashed it again. Surrender, my friend, we are not a weight class at all. The big guy said halfway, and the mace he held up stopped. What about the other person? Sora has great power, but the reaction is too slow. Lucas's voice came from behind. What? The big guy heard the voice, then slowly turned around and looked at Lucas who appeared behind him. Even if you are fast, there is no way to beat me. The big man raised his mace and smashed it again. Finger pistol. Lucas pointed his finger at the huge mace. Finger pistol, the power of the whole body is concentrated on the index finger, and it is a blow between the hardened finger electric light and flint. At the same time, Lucas also added 44 times the strength and skin defense to himself for the sake of safety. The mace came fiercely, and the audience had already covered their eyes, and the host was about to stop. Lucas's fingers flashed quickly, and he kept poking at the mace, poking the big weapon into a hornet's nest. Okay, so strong. The big man looked at his disused mace with shocked expression, then looked at Lucas, and threw the mace aside. I admit defeat. The big guy then gave Lucas a thumbs up. At the end of the game, Lucas left the duel platform and sat in the spectator stand for a while. You are so strong, what's the point of coming here? Rui Kie looked at him speechlessly. This guy, strong and outrageous, can beat the mace with his fingers alone. This guy didn't even drew the sword. I don't know if their sword fighter Cyrus can defeat him. Shish, Lucas motioned for silence, then looked at the duel platform. At this time, a murloc with red skin and a pair of beta horns on his head walked up. At the end of the third shift, as a handicapped party, I am so tired. I would like to ask for recommendations, monthly tickets, recommendations, rewards, and investment from dads. Every time I ask for a recommendation, the second option of the input method is to ask uncle, so I have a question mark on my face, meow meow. Chapter 95-94. Fighting Fish Murloc. Seeking collection. Seeking monthly pass. Seeking recommendation. Advertisement. Oh, Murloc, it would be nice if I could be my subordinate. Lucas said with a smile. Why? Rachel looked at him puzzled. Because I can't swim. Lucas smiled. There are many more Murloc crew members, and there are many benefits. Murlocs or mermaids can ask the fish in the sea for directions, just ask if you are greedy. It's more cowhide than the navigator. Murlocs are good at water warfare and can make up for the shortcomings of warships in many cases. Although Murlocs have the greatest advantage in the water, in fact, most of the Murlocs, physical stamina, strength, and speed are still much stronger than some humans, and of course only the majority. Murloc karate is also a good fighting ability. In short, Lucas thinks that the Murloc race is still very good. You can try to recruit some Murlocs into his warship. Seeing the Murloc on the court quickly stepped forward and directly defeated an opponent, Lucas nodded in satisfaction. This fighting fish Murloc is very strong. After watching the game for a long time, Lucas breathed and heard his name call. Please Marine Rear Admiral Lucas, and Zachary the fisherman. Lucas walked into the duel platform and looked at the beta Murloc in front of him. With red skin and a hat on his head, Zachary squeezed his fist and nodded with a smile to Lucas. Please use all your strength to fight me, I'll be aware of you for a while. Zachary said with a smile. Then you can't help it. Lucas looked at each other and smiled. It seems that this Murloc is still very friendly to humans, at least not as if Arlong stepped forward and said, I'm tender to you, cubs. Start. Whizzing. The two quickly disappeared in place at the same time, appeared in the middle, and kicked at the same time. Pop. The two had their legs out at the same time, hitting each other. So fast. Advertisement. You are not bad too. As a beta fisherman, Zachary is very good at fighting, and his speed, reaction, and power are much stronger than ordinary humans. Even some clans with long hands or legs can't beat him. However, every time he moves fast now, Lucas will easily keep up. Every time he throws his leg, Lucas easily kicks and blocks him, and every time he throws a punch, he is also blocked. The two kept moving at high speed on the duel platform, constantly kicking towards each other. Zachary relied on his body speed, while Lucas relied on shave to move fast, dealing with this Murloc, and there was no increase. I poked the big mace before, it was just a momentary nasty taste. You used a single finger to deal with that stupid guy before, and now you deal with me with kicking skills. What kind of fighting do you use? Zachary asked curiously, and kicked Lucas at the same time. Pop. Lucas easily blocked his leg and patted the knife he hung around his waist. Obviously, I am a swordsman. Quote. Usually at Marineford, I'm not busy. When Sanji is practicing his kicking skills, Lucas will watch him, and sometimes he will learn together when he is bored. With so many professionals, Lucas can play a little bit. Zachary punched Lucas, and Lucas pushed the opponent's fist away with a punch. Lucas played for a while and directly defeated Zachary. If this person can see and hear S**X, he can hang Jin. Lucas wanted to recruit a Murloc to his warship, starting with that Murloc, it would be nice to recruit more Murlocs. Leaving the arena, Lucas watched the game for a while, except for the Murloc, and there was no player he liked. They saw a bronze statue of Cyrus in the arena lounge. Unfortunately, at this time, Lucas came a bit late. In this country, he inquired that Scarlet, Princess of Dressrosa, had long been dead. Of course, Lucas would not believe a word of the news of Scarlet's death. King Liku, in order to let Scarlet marry Cyrus, and at the same time to take care of Cyrus, mood. Made up false news about Scarlet's death, and then let Scarlet and Cyrus live in a hut in a flower field. What is the biggest knot of Cyrus? He has been struggling with killing himself, he is a sinful man. Advertisement. Fart. This is the era of the great pirates, and I'm still entangled here with this kind of idiot question. When Cyrus was young, his friend was killed by someone else, and he killed that person to avenge his friend. Does this still need to be tangled in the era of the great pirates? Sakazuki had already picked up a knife and fought with bad guys when he was young. Before he joined Marine, he definitely killed bad guys, but he didn't become Marine anyway. For Lucas, it was purely Oda's problem. In many cases, Oda is too idealistic. What a person should be like, it should always be like this. Even if a friend is killed, we must stick to that idealized image. Even in the later stage, Oda-sai continued to use the label, too idealized, to keep Luffy brainless and foolish to promote the plot. To return to the subject, Scarlet's death means that Cyrus has long since lived in seclusion with Scarlet. Now that the fierce figure can't be seen in the arena, this is something that Lucas regrets. After all, Cyrus was beaten next to him with one leg, and there was an oil bottle behind him, which could also smash Diamante's fierce man. Once they didn't eat devil fruit, they didn't have a famous teacher. They came from the civilian class. With a sword, they killed Diamante, one of the top officials of Doflamingo. Lucas was convinced anyway. If the Marine team were all such fierce men, Tenten called me a sinner and I wanted to kill the pirates to atone for the crime, then how good it would be, and it won't take long for ordinary people to live in a safer environment. Tenten stayed at home, shouting that I was a guilty person, picking flowers with her daughter. Such a waste. Out of the arena, Lucas looked at the sky, ready to eat something. Stop. At this time, at the entrance of the arena, the Murloc Zackley came over and looked at Lucas. What's the matter? Zoro turned around and looked at this guy curiously. If you join Marine, he is warmly welcome. Please fight me again. As a swordsman, you should take up your weapon and fight with me. Zackley pointed to the long knife hanging from Lucas's waist, his eyes full of fighting spirit. Please, you are weak. The little human girl sitting on Lucas's shoulder looked at the Murloc with contempt. Please fight me again, this time I won't be careless. Zackley said, staring at Lucas with his fist clenched. Respect. Don't fight anymore. At this moment, a human woman walked over on the corner of the street and said, taking Zackley's arm. You let me go, I just want to fight him fairly today. Zackley pushed his girlfriend. Chapter 96-95. A terrifying knife. For collection. For reward. For monthly pass. Advertisement. A fair fight. Lucas looked helplessly at this naive Murloc. Originally he could easily defeat the opponent without drawing a knife. If this is a fair fight, he must not chop this friend into fish and meat. The young man is very ugly, and he has a beautiful human wife, so don't behave like this, okay? Do you really want me to draw a knife to fight with you? Lucas looked at Zackley with suspicion. Brothers are okay, right? Yes. Zackley nodded, tapping the sharp corners of his head. I still have two sharp corners, I'm not afraid of you. After all, this guy banged his sharp teeth vigorously. I still have sharp teeth, and I have not used my real strength. Lucas glanced at Zackley's girlfriend, with a thin body with yellow hair, and he suddenly remembered something. Could this guy be Dellinger's father? Not right. Lucas quickly broke up the idea. Normally speaking, Dellinger was adopted by the Don Quixote family when he was a baby, probably before Don Quixote came to New World. Dellinger's father is another person, not the betta fish in front of him. Really willing to accept humans, humans are also willing to accept Murlocs. Although there are few such couples, it cannot be said that there are no such couples. But when dealing with Don Quixote before, Lucas did not find Derringer. It is very possible that because of the appearance of Lucas, the butterfly effect appeared, which caused Doflamingo to not go where they were supposed to go, and confiscate Dellinger. In other words, the world had undergone many changes when he first arrived, and Dellinger's destiny trajectory had changed. Anyway, the current Dellinger, I don't know where it is. Was it adopted, or was it a vagrancy? None are clear. Lucas finally agreed to the betta fish man's request, and several people came to a clearing not far from the field, ready to compete again. In fact, he still took a fancy to the Murloc's physical fitness and identity. Want to have some contact opportunities, draw him closer to his warship. In the future, with the help of this Murloc, he can bring more Murloc subordinates. In this Japanese manga world, a strong strength is extremely important, but the same, Japanese hot-blooded manga, mostly teamwork is indispensable. Those who really want to do great things are inevitably many people who support him. What Lucas will do in the future, it is impossible for him to do it alone with a knife. Down with powerful enemies, but those enemies often have a lot of power behind them. Advertisement. This requires a large number of loyal subordinates. Zackley and Lucas stood in the middle of the open space, and in the distance were the little human race Rickier who was watching the battle, and the human girlfriend of the fighting fish Murloc. The old man who had finished the day of farming looked at the two people curiously, sitting under the tree, waiting for the good show. This Murloc looks so fierce, I feel that this marine is dangerous. The old man said, and handed the fan to the woman next to him. He can't win. The woman shook her head. She had heard that Lucas easily defeated her boyfriend. Yes, you can't win. The old man nodded in agreement. The two are not on the same channel at all. Lucas drew the long knife from his waist, and the twilight light of the setting sun shone on the knife. As the blade was lifted, a wave of cold light kept flashing on the pattern of the knife. Start. A childish and small voice came from a distance, from the little human race. When the two heard it, they set off. Swish. The two disappeared in place at the same time, stunned to see the old man under the tree. I'm going. This young man, too soon. Zackley appeared in front of Lucas, and the sharp corner of his head pressed towards Lucas. Lucas directly used the shave to come to Zackley's back, and looked at Zackley, who reacted with hindsight. How to beat him? It can't be cut with a single knife. After all, the opponent is not a pirate, nor a criminal. He can't learn from a certain beautiful country, because he trembles and shoots when he sees that you and I are not the same breed. Smash the opponent to the ground with a punch. No, it would have to be said that he doesn't respect his opponent again. Since you want to take the other party into your own subordinates, you must use the most shocking way to let the other party admit defeat. Yes, Lucas happily watched Zackley rushing towards him, avoiding the attack directly. Then he swung a knife. He turned his back to the sunset, and Zackley rushed towards him against twilight. Lucas directly slashed a wave of chopping. Add 44 times the volume and power to the chopper wave. The huge chopping wave brushed the side, flew past Zackley, and directly split a huge rock behind him. So strong. Zackley looked at the chopping wave in surprise, and under the control of the opponent, there was no danger and it did not hurt him. Advertisement. But until now, Zackley hasn't taken a step, and has been immersed in the shock of that huge chopping wave. Lucas is now hitting with all his strength, and the normal state of the chopped wave is about 8 meters visually, and the volume after 44 times. Too horrible. Fortunately, Lucas deliberately avoided the field and a few people under the tree. Zackley looked down at the terrifying gully wiping the ground. This is the great swordsman. After a long time unable to calm down, he squatted down and touched the ground that was torn by slashing. The shock in his heart could not be described in a few words. Hearing the sound coming from his ear, he raised his head and looked at the figure walking in the twilight. So young and so strong, how strong this person will become in the future. The future is limitless. Lucas maintained a strong demeanor, looking down at Zackley without a word for a long time. In fact, he knows how strong he is. Just compare him with Katakuri, he has two shortcomings. One is that his experience is not as good as Katakuri, far from reaching the level of predicting the short-term future opponent's shots. No matter how he hits, he can't hit Katakuri, who has avoided early white hits. The second is that his strongest strength is in the state of increase, but to maintain that kind of high-intensity increase, his physical strength is also very fast. His physical strength is consumed faster than others' normal fighting, and when his physical strength is exhausted, it is when he runs away. However, Zackley didn't know at all in front of these. In his eyes, this is an outrageous existence. Eat meal together. Lucas stretched out his hand and looked at each other with a smile. Okay. Zackley held Lucas's hand excitedly and stood up. Such a strong swordsman, unexpectedly wants to eat with him. Zackley is very excited now. Lucas and Zackley waved to the two opposite, and they hurriedly followed. 4 people walked to the city together to prepare a meal. The old man sitting under the tree was already dumbfounded. The slash wave that was slashed out with a single stab is so big. Chapter 97-96. The Avenue of Lovers, The Avenue of Dog Abuse, Collection. Monthly Ticket. Recommendation. Advertisement. Inside a hotel in Dressrosa. Lucas woke up the next day, picked up the knife, and walked out to look for the restaurant. Yesterday I had dinner with that Murloc, and they got to know each other well. But what made him more helpless was that the Murloc was going to take his girlfriend back to the Fishman Island. The contact time was too short, and he did not have too many opportunities to invite each other to participate in marine. Sitting in the restaurant, Lucas was eating breakfast while thinking about how to keep him. In fact, in this world, there are still quite a few strong people in certain races that have been discriminated against by humans. Mainly because the celestial dragons are in power in the world government. Moreover, races such as the hand-length tribe, the leg-length tribe, and the Murloc mermaid tribe, in most cases, have better physiques than ordinary humans. At least these ordinary soldiers recruited, this is the case. Moreover, the ability of the giants is not to mention. Of course, most of the top powerhouses are indeed humans. After all, compared with those strange races, they are ordinary humans, but many people are not ordinary at all. The ant is not ordinary, she unintentionally defeated the giants in her childhood. Kaido is also not ordinary, and Whitebeard is so ordinary, so big. Take Lucas himself. When he was a child, he looked very thin and short. He has grown up to more than 3 meters in height, which makes his idol basketball superstar in his previous life so embarrassing. Lucas sat in his seat and looked at the small human race that ran fast in the distance. The villain lives in Greenbite, and Richie sits obediently on the table in front of Lucas, watching the rice bowl he pushes, and quickly nibbling on his meal. Aren't you producing? Lucas looked at the little guy curiously. Although the villains were no longer bullied as slaves because of King Liku. But these guys Tenten running around the street and stealing guns around the legend of a fairy is a bit too much. Although the civilians of Dressrosa lived in harmony with the royal family, they lived happily. But their lives are not rich. There is no reason to give them food for free because of a shit legend. I give you food because I think you are pitiful, but it doesn't mean you can steal it, let alone a commoner who has a hard life. That's why Lucas caught this little B********* D yesterday. There are generally serious problems with the three views of people in the world. Richie looked at Lucas awkwardly. This question is awkward to answer. She wanted to say frankly that they were working hard to give birth, but. Advertisement. Every day so many fairies steal things on the street, you can see. Did you produce a ghost? Look at how many people are in this restaurant. Lucas pointed indoors while sucking noodles. For customers, just the two of us. Rachel looked around and said. Wrong, it's one, because you didn't pay. Lucas tapped her head with his finger. People in this country are not rich, and they don't owe you. Lucas looked at Rickle and said. A long time ago, the Don Quixote family ruled this country. They enslaved you, but most of the things you stole on these streets were ordinary people. They are not Don Quixote, they are very poor, you stole things, how do they live? I'm sorry. Rachel looked at Lucas aggrievedly. This Marine really seemed to be an extremely righteous person. But, we really don't have that much food, the king allows us to be so. Lucas glared at her when she was halfway talking. Don Quixote rules you. The work you do directly makes Dressrosa rich, and as a result, you can't support yourself when you are free. Ghost letter. Go to the street and ask, if one day King Liku's rule ends, will they still allow you to steal it? Lucas finished his meal, checked out and went out. Richie ran out quickly and jumped on Lucas's shoulder. She could see the attitude of this Marine. She was afraid that the little humans with short eyes would steal the other party's things and be killed by the other party. Then what should we do? Work hard and work. You can produce with half the strength that appears in stealing things, and you won't run into the streets to steal things. You can help civilians get paid for their work. This is true peace. Begging blindly for help is not the way to survive. These words of Lucas are true. When he was young, he experienced the most hungry and hardest period. If he had not withstood the temptation at the beginning and went astray, he would tell the pirates of his devil fruit's ability. Most pirate groups will take him, and they can eat well without having to endure the wind and rain. But when he meets Sakazuki and passes by, he will not live anymore. As Lao Guo said, he picked up the money, and the god of wealth blessed him, but the people who lost the money at night went to the door of the god of wealth and cursed the street. Survival cannot be too wicked. Came to the arena, Lucas did not see the Murloc for the next 2 days. Advertisement. It seems that the other party has left Dressrosa. Then the current arena does not have much meaning. Except for the Murloc, the players who appeared in the arena these 2 days. He took out Ah Jin, and Ah Jin could hang these people. Where are you planning to go today? Rachel asked curiously, standing on Lucas's shoulder. What else is Dressrosa famous for? I'll take you. 10 minutes later, Lucas stands on Dressrosa's famous couple street, where couples in love can be seen everywhere. Lucas looked at the villain with a speechless expression. He's single, it's a bit too much to take him to a dog abuse place like Lover's Avenue in idle time. I'm single, did you bring me here to pierce my heart? Lucas glared at Rachel. You are so handsome, will you still be single? Rui Kie looked at Lucas in surprise, this is a straight man of steel. Quote. Lucas quickly turned around and left this sad place. What is a straight man of steel? Just kidding, he is very good at teasing, this is called focusing on career, and thinking about girlfriends when the world is stable. Well, he is really a straight man. There are only 2 more famous places left to visit, one is the palace. The palace. Very boring in such a place. Flower field. Cyrus. It is possible to run into Cyrus without poke or poke. Lucas asked Ricky to take herself all the way to the flower field. There were dancing girls in the middle of the street, but she was compared with the heroic female Marine in Marine. Do not care. You don't even have a girlfriend, why are you here in Huation? Rui Kie looked at him puzzled. Leave me alone. Lucas glared at her, looked around, walked around. In the distance, a burly figure appeared. He was pushing the trolley with a little girl sitting in the trolley. Chapter 98-97. Amusing young Rebecca, a monthly pass. A recommendation. A reward. Advertisement. Cyrus. Rachel looked at the man in the distance in shock. The hero in the Dressrosa arena has an incredible 3,000 unbeaten record. Over the years, Dressrosa has never seen him in the arena again. Cyrus stopped his hand pushing the car, turned and looked back suspiciously. A Marine, and a villain. Odosan, who are they? The young Rebecca's long pink hair was blown by the breeze, and she was sitting in the cart holding the cart and curiously looking at the people behind. Marine and the little human. Cyrus looked at his daughter with a smile, and gently rubbed her daughter's hair with his gloved hands, causing the young Rebecca to laugh. Cyrus never expected that he, his wife and daughter, living in seclusion in a flower field, would be discovered by outsiders. I can only hope that the other party will not speak out well. The happy life of their family of 3 is pretty good now. Richie ran quickly all the way, and Lucas walked slowly. Hello, hero of the arena, Cyrus. Lucas smiled and looked at each other. Sure enough, you can meet each other here. Hello, Mr. Marine, can I trouble you with one thing? Cyrus scratched his hair with a nerve. Don't speak out. Yes, no problem. Cyrus breathed a sigh of relief, and it seemed that the other party was very good at talking. I'm not going to tell you. Rikie stood on the car, teasing cute Rebecca happily. It turns out that this is Cyrus's daughter. It's so kawaii. Can we compare it? I heard that you are very strong. Lucas looked at Cyrus and said. He wanted to try Cyrus. True strength. If it weren't for the fact that his subordinates would pick him up by warship in the afternoon, he would not bear to leave. I really want to have a good talk with Cyrus. By the way, try to let the other party join Marine, or join Dressrosa's guard team. Tenton was entangled that he was a sinner. Pirates were rampant in the era of big pirates. It would be a waste not to fight the pirates with such a good force. Cyrus glanced at Lucas and hesitated for a while. Well, I didn't take my sword with me. I invite you to my house for dinner. How about the afternoon competition? Cyrus asked. The other party promised not to tell him about his seclusion, and he felt that he should invite a meal. Okay, then bother, Lucas said with a smile. The meal was over and the test was over, and it happened that he got on the warship and left here. Advertisement. If the time is longer, it will be fine. But they are only getting to know each other for the first time, so you can't invite each other to join Marine directly. It's too unrealistic. Follow Cyrus slowly to his home, through the flower field, Lucas holding a flower in his hand, teasing Kawaii's young Rebecca. So cute. Lucas looked at the young Rebecca's smile, which was much cuter than the bear kids in his family. Now even the sugar and the girls are a little bit infected by Luffy and the others, and they have some bearish temperament. Just look at it. I like cute children to find their own wives. Rui Kie joked Lucas. You don't talk a lot. Lucas glared at her, and a guide mocked the tourists that Ishan wanted to lose his job. In the distance, in the middle of the flower field, a small house appeared, and the smoke rose slowly from the chimney. A beautiful woman with an apron wrapped around her waist, standing at the door, greeted Cyrus. Cyrus approached, and the woman threw into his arms happily. Puff. Lucas felt a dagger from an old husband and wife plunge into his heart. It hurts. What did he do to Cyrus in his idle time? Rachel sat on the baby Rebecca comfortably, and the baby Rebecca happily grabbed Lucas's marine cape. Big brother, so handsome. Lucas smiled and rubbed her hair gently. At the invitation of Cyrus, he walked into the house. Lucas was sitting at the table, drinking with Cyrus, while Scarlet brought them food. Cyrus's wife Scarlet and the young Rebecca are indeed very similar in appearance. This kind of life is really easy, it makes people feel at ease. Lucas said. Cyrus is actually quite envious of life like this. Wu Yu lives carefree between the flower fields, picking flowers, enjoying a romantic time with his wife, and amusing his lovely daughter Rebecca. Well, I haven't held a sword for a long time, and I really like my life now. Cyrus nodded in agreement. But have you ever wondered how long can the easy time in this country last? Lucas asked. Why can't you have a permanent easy time? Cyrus looked at Lucas puzzledly. In his opinion, this country has the rule of King Liku, everyone gets along with each other in peace, and the civilians live in safety. Where are the outsiders bothering? Advertisement. Lucas shook his head. He did capture the Don Quixote family and save the country in advance. But don't forget, the chaos in New World is not over yet. The Four Emperors pattern has not yet formed, and the major forces are attacking each other and vying for territory. Without the shelter of Doflamingo, this country has no existence that can deter the big pirates. Cyrus is so powerful that he can at most kill a pirate of the same strength as Diamante. But there are too many people who can kill Cyrus. Whitebeard pirates, Bigmom pirates, Kaido pirates. And now New World is not only the three parties, maybe there are other pervert-capable pirates. All parties are fighting for territory. Without Doflamingo's existence here, other pirate groups are bound to come here to cause trouble or seize territory. Of course, if this place can be sheltered by Whitebeard, it will be a good thing. But, Lucas would not say that. Analyzing the situation of New World to Cyrus, Lucas looked at his expression. In fact, there is a way for this. That is, Lucas proposed to transfer himself to New World at Marine headquarters. As long as he does not meet a few strong people, he can handle most situations and protect this place. But that depends on Cyrus' willingness to cooperate. Cyrus hesitated looking at the cute daughter who was pestering Scarlet. He also understood what this Marine meant. The other party can transfer themselves here, and Marine is stationed here to protect this country. But what are they going to pay? After all, there are still very few New World Marines today. The most unacceptable thing for him is that he will definitely follow the other party when the time comes. It seems that this Marine has heard of his reputation and came to him on purpose. Lucas also said casually that if Cyrus agreed, he would also protect this place. After all, this is a good combat power. It doesn't matter if you don't agree, Cyrus's combat power is not to the extent that he insists on asking the opponent to join Marine. New World is a place with many strong enemies, and he is also very interested in it. Chapter 99-98. Today's MVP Monet. Great. For collection. For monthly pass. For reward. Advertisement. In the flower field, Lucas and Cyrus stand on two sides. In the end, Cyrus did not want to change his current life. He chose to stay in Huatian and his family in seclusion. But he asked for Lucas's phone worm number, and when Dressrosa encountered an intruder that couldn't be resolved, he would choose to contact him. As a Marine, Lucas has already fulfilled his duties. In the past, Dressrosa was rescued indirectly. New World Marine was already weak and it was not their protection. He couldn't possibly Tenton here to protect this place. Give it a try the opponent's strength, and he will leave this country. The two each drew their swords, the breeze blew across the flower field, and they both set off at the same time. Cyrus struck Lucas with a sword. Swish. Both of them evaded each other's attack, passing by, knives and swords making the sound of slashing through the air. Lucas quickly turned around and slashed a slashing wave directly at Cyrus. Cyrus quickly dodged his body, and then stabbed at Lucas again. The two crossed once again, avoiding the other's attack. Lucas looked at Cyrus unexpectedly. In his previous life, he looked at Cyrus's life card, and the hockey column was empty. Cyrus didn't understand hockey, but the opponent was able to avoid his attacks many times. Worthy of being an undefeated figure in the Dressrosa Arena 3000 games. Only relying on pure swordsmanship and physical instincts can dodge his attack. Yes, you are great, Lucas said while backing away, avoiding Cyrus's sword. You are also very strong, I didn't even hit you. Cyrus looked at Lucas in surprise. From the beginning to now, he has not hit the opponent once, even the opponent's knife. Because I have seen and heard, Lucas said, using the shave directly to come to Cyrus's back, and slash it. Kang. Cyrus' body turned quickly, and a sword blocked Lucas's knife. As soon as Lucas came behind him with the shave, he heard the sound of the opponent falling on the ground. Although it was short, his reaction and speed were very fast. This is 3000 games unbeaten, no hockey, no fruit ability, the greatest support of pure swordsmanship. Playing enough, his physical reaction and experience allow him to block many attacks. Good. Lucas smiled with satisfaction. If Cyrus learns hockey again, he would be so strong. At least upgraded by 1 grade, right? Lucas used the shave again and disappeared. Then, he started to use the shave continuously and quickly appeared next to Cyrus, dropping the knife rapidly. Advertisement. Cyrus kept blocking fast, but the opponent was too fast, and he couldn't hold it after blocking it for a while. Boom. Lucas retracted the knife in time, kicked Cyrus and kicked the opponent away. Cyrus stepped back and looked at Lucas in surprise. This guy is moving so fast, it's almost pervert, unheard of. I lost. Cyrus put away his sword. In these years, he tried to lose for the first time. You are strong, but Dressrosa's arena is too small. This world is very big, there are many strong, there are many worth learning, you can become stronger. Lucas put away the knife and said. He just used shaving continuously and quickly, but it was not difficult, as long as he increased his strength and speed. Of course, the most important thing is physical exertion. Sitting at the door, the young Rebecca, who had been cheering for my dear father, saw that his father was defeated. Bad brother, don't let my dad, stinky B asterisk 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 D. Rebecca looked at Lucas as he walked up, and looked up at him and said angrily. Ha ha ha. ... Lucas bid farewell to the villains and the Cyrus family, and walked to the pier on the shore of Dressrosa. He told Cyrus about hockey's concept and training methods, hoping that the other party could develop hockey. Hockey in One Piece world is very metaphysical. It stands to reason that hockey is a kind of energy hidden in the human body. The concept is that all humans have it. The stronger the body, the stronger the development. But some people are very strong, but they just can't be developed. There are many examples of this, and I feel that Oda-sai is saying that you are very strong, you are a supporting role, and I want to cut you. The warship approached slowly and stopped by the dock. Lucas smiled and greeted the men on the boat. Back on the warship, looking at a few people on the warship. Monet's grass-green wavy hair kept swaying with the sea breeze. She stared at Lucas closely, holding back her tears, bit her lip and rushed forward. Ooh, not dead enough. Stop. Lucas looked at Monet, who was holding his arms tightly. Lucas could understand her mood, but why did her tears disappear after she pounced on her? She smiled very happily, and she rubbed against him hard. The suspicion of this female hooligan taking the opportunity to wipe oil is very high. Lucas grabbed Monet's body and pushed it vigorously. Monet didn't pretend, he smirked, just didn't let go. The first step to a successful strategy boss is reached. Let go. I can understand your mood, but please pay attention to your image. Lucas broke off Monet's little hand and pushed the female hooligan away, finally letting out a sigh of relief. Advertisement. You are still alive, people are happy. Monet's cheeks were slightly red, and he said happily. Take advantage of it, okay. Quote. Lucas almost didn't spray out a mouthful of old blood. Be bold. Are you happy that I'm still alive? Obviously take the opportunity to take advantage of me. I'm so envious. Yeah, the Marine standing at the back whispered. Suddenly I wanted to feign death. A Marine said enviously. Agree. The other Marine nodded frantically. Lucas Rear Admiral is so happy, Tenton has a beauty, Marine wants to pounce on him. They also want a beautiful woman to plot against them. Akin heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that Lucas was still alive. By the way, Rear Admiral, Sakazuki Vice Admiral wants you to return to Marineford as soon as possible. He wants to make you a life card to prevent you from doing such a thing again. Ahem. Lucas coughed slightly and nodded. Go back. Yes. Lucas returned to the captain's room and sat in a chair. In fact, he didn't bother to make things like life cards at first. But when he reached Master Lantern's stomach, the signal was very poor and he could not contact the outside world, and he understood the importance of the life card. At least you can tell others that he is not dead yet. What should I do if I die? If you die, there will be a news of death. It doesn't make any sense to the deceased. Let's report on the heaven report. Boom boom. The door was knocked and Lucas took a sip of water. Please come in. Monet walked in, closed the door, and sat on the opposite chair, with his arms on the table, and his head staring at Lucas admiringly. What's the matter? Lucas asked. I just want to see you. Monet stared at Lucas's chest and said, feeling really not piercing. Chapter 199. 5 Mermaid, seeking monthly ticket. Seeking recommendation. Seeking reward. Advertisement. Lucas followed Monet's gaze and looked at himself. Question mark, question mark, question mark. This female hooligan. Stand up, without the permission of the chief, who told you to sit. Lucas slapped the table, and Monet shook in fright. He quickly stood up and pushed the chair forward. Go out and run around the warship with a heavy load. When will the meal be served and when will you stop? Huh, don't. Monet's begging for mercy came from the room. Hurry up. As a good marine, physical strength is very important. Lucas glared at Monet, and Monet hurriedly went out. Hey, this straight steel man. Monet thought about it, and it seemed that her unruly action against Lucas Rear Admiral did not go well. This idiot. Lucas looked at Monet, who closed the door. There are too many powerful enemies in the world, and I don't think about making myself stronger all day long, and even plot against him. Excessive strength is too important in this world. He has some pure gold hidden in his body now, but he does not intend to use it now. When the time comes to hide the pure gold, it is best to transfer yourself to the first half of the Grand Line, or somewhere in the New World branch. Then he can recruit more outstanding subordinates while doing what he wants to do. Wait a few more years before he uses pure gold. After all, from last year to now, he feels that his body has grown a little bit. After Orogia's father introduced something like pure gold, he knew that it was a kind of longevity that was achieved through a certain kind of raise that caused the body to stop growing indefinitely. When the body reaches its peak, he uses pure gold again. At that time, he relied on pure gold to maintain the peak of physical fitness, and at the same time, the continuous improvement of kendo and fruit ability, so that the strength continued to improve. At this time, Dressrosa, saying goodbye to Cyrus, returning to Grinch, the villain of Grimbit, looked at a clearing that their tribe found on the island. Before Lucas left, he gave her a toll. Rachel used the money to buy some seeds and brought them back to the clan. Advertisement. The people planned to grow crops here. It was not easy to find a clearing on this island, and their people had to set up a lot of traps to prevent the wild beasts from destroying their fields. What Lucas said, she told the people of the tribe, and everyone thought it made sense. After all, if someone grabs all their food, their life will be very sad. Next, the people began to focus on crops. Of course, they rarely do this kind of thing. Tomorrow, a group of tribesmen will go to Punk Hazard to discuss with King Liku. They will help the civilians and learn some skills while making some money. In the future, they will no longer pick some wild fruit in the forest, steal some food, and mess around like this. Rochelle, come here, I will introduce you to a young man. A man wearing a crown and a scepter beckoned. He is the king of Rachel's father, the little human race, and behind him, a little human young man named Gon Chao saw Rachel's eyes shine brightly, beautiful. The little people are also called the Tata clan, maybe it is a translation problem. The king only had such a beautiful daughter, and he wanted to match her daughter with this young man named Gon Chao. Many years later, there will be a little human princess named Man surely born. Lucas's warship left Dressrosa all the way and approached the Red Line. A pirate ship that had just entered the New World was docked next to the warship, and Lucas's figure quickly and continuously flashed on the pirate ship. After a while, the pirates on the pirate ship fell on the deck one by one with knives in their hearts. The blood stained the deck. Lucas grabbed the captain of the pirate, squeezed his palms hard, and the pinched pirate was flushed. Rear Admiral, we found 5 tied-up merfolk on this ship. Monet walked out and reported to Lucas. How are they? Lucas asked. One of them seemed to be fainted by these pirates before, and the others were fine. Monet said. Well, save them all. Lucas said, and Monet led a man into the cabin and rescued a personal fish. 3 women and 2 men. Lucas looked at the pirate with a weird expression. He could understand the 3 female merfolk, but the 2 men. The captain of the pirate is quite heavy. Bah bah bah. Regardless of whether his words are serious or not, this kind of human trafficker behavior is what he hates most. With a click, he broke the D's neck directly. Advertisement. Lucas threw the opponent onto the deck. Take all the food, supplies, and money of the pirates. Lucas said, returning to the warship. Clear. The Marines responded, and then moved boxes of supplies to the warship. After moving, everyone returned to the warship. Lucas directly swung out several chopping waves, sinking the pirate ship. Rear Admiral, that's the Pirates of the Sun. The watcher shouted from the observation deck. Oh, Lucas looked over. In the distant sea, the ship of the Pirates of the Sun came slowly. On the boat of the Pirates of the Sun. Tiger stood at the bow, and Jinbei followed. Huh, those pirates were killed by Marine, and the 5 merfolk were saved. Jinbei looked at the 5 merfolk on the warship and breathed a sigh of relief. They actually returned to the Fishmen Island a long time ago. After fighting with Lucas, they drifted on the sea for a while. After thinking a lot, they felt that since such a young Rear Admiral could easily defeat them. The people in Marine were too dangerous, they eventually returned to the Fishmen Island. The entire Sun Pirates group directly guards the Fishmen Island, and helps the people of the Dragon Palace guard the Fishmen Island together. The pirate group before, originally bought things honestly in the Fishman Island, and went to the Mermaid Cafe for coffee after shopping. For this kind of pirate who brought Bailey to the Fishman Island, the guy who doesn't cause trouble. They are still very welcome. Who knows that these cunning guys injured a lot of their people while they were not paying attention, and took away 3 waiters from the Mermaid Cafe. On the road, 2 male mermaids were taken hostages frantically. They are very good at fighting, but they are really not good at saving the hostages. Only then did I follow all the way here. Let's go back, they are already saved. Tiger said, and nodded slightly to Lucas who was opposite. It seems that this Marine Rear Admiral really has a lot of kindness towards them. The Fishman Island. The ship of the Pirates of the Sun turned around and left the sea without looking for trouble for Lucas. After all, as a Marine, Lucas could not smile and chat with the pirate who was offered a reward by the world government. Tiger glanced at Lucas, hoping that the other party could become the top character in Marine in the future. Maybe it would be beneficial to the Fishman Island, right? Chapter 100-1100. Princess Otahime, seeking investment, seeking monthly pass, seeking recommendation. Advertisement. Rear Admiral, they ran too far. Buggy said. Yes, it's a bit far, I can't catch up. Lucas said with satisfaction, then don't chase them. Lucas walked into the cabin and looked at the 5 mermaids. I communicated with a few mermaids and learned how they were taken away by the pirates. The mermaid with light green and short hair also woke up. When is it now? The light green short-haired mermaid looked at Lucas puzzledly. By the way, where is this place? Quote. Lucas looked at each other. It is said that this mermaid, when the Mermaid Cafe was looted, made an exaggerated expression with frightened eyes and tongue, and then was shocked. But she is not called Kami. From the Fishman Island to New World, talent. It's almost night. This is New World. You have been rescued. I plan to send you back to the Fishman Island. You are safe. Lucas comforted. Had it. The light green short-haired mermaid grabbed his hair in horror. Everyone in the room looked at her speechlessly. Don't be so scared if you were rescued, this idiot. My daughter is still at home waiting for me. I didn't go back to cook at noon. What should I do? She rubbed her light green short hair vigorously, her expression panicked. Your daughter should know how to cook, Lucas said helplessly. She's only 8 years old. The light green short-haired mermaid cried. Quote. Pirates heading to New World can coat the boat at Sabayati Archipelago. Similarly, people in New World want to return to the first half of the Grand Line. It can also be coated on some island towns around the Red Line below Mariajoy. The complex mangroves from Sabayati Archipelago not only extend to the deep ocean, but also on the edge of the entrance to New World, there are some rare mangroves growing. It's just a lot less than Sabayati Archipelago. But it is enough for some people to coat and go to the Fishman Island. The coated film is the root of the Archie mangrove. Natural resin is secreted by respiration. The resin swells to form bubbles due to air. The coating people plate these bubbles on the boat. This peculiar existence allows the boat to not be squeezed by pressure even in a deep place under the sea. Of course, in animation works, don't talk about physics. The warship was coated with a film, and while diving, it headed towards the Fishman Island. Advertisement. As the warship slowly dived, the light outside the warship's membrane became less and less, and more fish swam by the warship. It's so beautiful. Monet stood on the edge of the boat, looking up at these fishes. It smells good to look at. A marine swallowed and said, looking at the plump fish outside. Grilled fish, fried fish, steamed fish, fish soup, sashimi. Various ways of eating appeared in his mind, sucking. It's greedy to think about it. Shut up. Lucas slapped the fool's head, but there were 5 mermaids behind him. The people of the Fishman Island, whether they are murlocs or mermaids, do not eat fish. Eat most shellfish. It's also the product of Shaohachi, and a Shaohachi takoyaki shop will be opened in the future. It's so fragrant to discuss fish meat in front of mermaids, it's too much. Obviously you. Before Marine finished speaking, he slapped his head again. Lucas glared at him, the idiot didn't dare to talk nonsense. Well, in fact, Lucas is the person who likes to eat fish the most, but he didn't talk nonsense. As the warship continues to dive, the surrounding brightness is getting lower and lower, and from time to time, huge creatures pass by the warship not far away. Marine warships are equipped with searchlights. Lucas ordered his subordinates to turn on the searchlights, watch the surroundings of the deep sea, and continue to the Fishman Island. The journey went smoothly, and they did not encounter the huge octopus sea monster. The sea kings under the sea did not attack them either, they were swimming leisurely one by one. Finally, they arrived at the Fishman Island. Okay, I sent you to the place, Lucas said to the mermaid behind him. Rear Admiral, do you want to take a break in the Fishman Island? We invite you to have coffee as a thank you. A mermaid lady said. Well, okay, but we will stay here for 1 day at most. Lucas said with a smile. It just so happens that he can also walk around in the Fishman Island. There are 2 ways to enter the Fishman Island, one is to rush through, and the other is to walk through the gate. Advertisement. They walked through the main entrance, communicated with the soldiers guarding the gate, and entered the Fishman Island. The structure inside the Fishman Island is very strange. There is a place where humans can breathe normally. There is no sea water on the road, but normal air. There are also places where murlocs or mermaids live, where there is all sea water, and they live in buildings in the sea. The warship docked on the shore, Lucas walked down, and several merfolk floated behind them with bubbles on their bodies. Lucas turned his head and glanced, and the boat of the Pirates of the Sun was docked aside, in his perception. The people of the Pirates of the Suns are still dealing with the pirates who make trouble while they leave the Fishmen Island. It seems that the Fishmen Island is still under the protection of the Pirates of the Sun, and Whitebeard has not been included in his protection. With the people of the Sun Pirate Group and Dragon Palace, some pirates with insufficient strength still dare not cause trouble. You go first, I'll be there in a while. Lucas separated from them, walked over, leaned against the wall, and listened to the speech of Princess Otahime. Yeah, Lucas nodded, and followed the mermaid on the inner streets of the Fishmen Island. Walking on the street, you can see all kinds of murlocs and mermaids everywhere. Although Lucas is a marine, his family, the Fishmen Island, now has a good income relying on these pirates, and he will not blatantly arrest people on the street. Even if the skin color is different, the appearance is different, but we can't wait for the day when human beings understand us. As he walked, Lucas heard a voice and looked over curiously. Of course, there are also many pirates walking on the streets.